Hello, everybody, and welcome back to OMB Reviews. I am the critic who is a cynic. How is everyone doing this afternoon? Happy blessed Sunday to everyone out there, and welcome back to another Chosen of Valhalla livestream, the February Chosen of Valhalla livestream, and we are joined by another amazing group of people. Many of the names you've seen several times before, and a new name who just popped on right before the stream actually started, and so we'll go ahead and go down the line, starting off with that new person. You've seen him in the chat. Sometimes it's a little too late because of where he is in the world. He is our brother from the UK, and that is Andrew Hoyle. Andrew Hoyle, how you doing, good sir?
Hello, I'm doing well, thanks.
Well, thank you again for joining. How is, this is going to be sounding odd, how's the weather over there?
It's quite cold.
Okay.
But it's not as cold as I've seen it is in the US.
Yes, absolutely. Especially randomly in the southern United States, of all places. It's been incredibly cold.
Yeah.
So if
it's not
you
too
had...
bad here. We were out today, so...
Okay.
Too bad.
What's the temperature over there?
It's... I don't know, to be honest. I don't feel the cold too well because I'm in the north of England, so I don't really feel the cold. But my wife is terrible for it, so she's always bundled up whenever we go out, even when it's warm.
Okay. I was hoping you'd give us a number because then I could be like Celsius or Fahrenheit.
Let me just check. Let's grab my phone.
Oh, it's 8 degrees. 8 degrees. Oh, Celsius. Oh, okay. Can you transfer that for me? Can you?
I can give you a rough estimate anymore.
See, I used to know the equation, and I've since lost it. Oh, he's actually looking up the temperature. That's fun.
I am. It's 48.
48. I'm hoping that's Fahrenheit.
That's Fahrenheit, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, otherwise I'd be like, that's a scorcher over there if that's Celsius.
Meanwhile, it's been negative 20 range here most of the last couple weeks. So.
Oh, yeah, that's right. But you've been able to get out a little bit, right, Rosetta?
Yeah, the last couple of days it's not been quite as ridiculous to drive on. So
okay.
For some reason, when it's negative 20 and the roads are really icy, my husband doesn't want me to go drive alone.
Well, I don't know why he wouldn't want you to drive at all if the roads are icy. That's just my own. Talking to someone here who's never had to deal with icy roads on a regular basis.
If you don't drive on icy roads at all, then you're not driving basically November till April, so that doesn't really work.
So you got the weatherproof tires and all that stuff?
No, just all weather.
Interesting.
And
but anyway,
I drive fine.
Andrew Hoyle, thank you again for joining. We'll come back and talk about, what we've been watching and everything like that. Because I know that you've been watching these before, so you know how things typically go. But thank you for being here, man.
Good.
Yeah. Also joining us once again is the horse face himself, Mr. Roy. Mr. Roy, how is it going, good sir?
That's going okay.
It's going all right.
I survived the great blizzard of Texas in 2021.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because that's right. That's your neck of the woods. How much snow did you get in your area?
About 4 or 5 inches.
Okay.
It wasn't too bad.
Okay. So yeah, I don't know. The state entire fully well. Is that like northern, southern, western, eastern, western Texas that you're in?
That's southeast Texas.
Southeast Texas.
It's near the Louisiana border.
Okay, that's right. I forgot about that. Okay, yeah. So is that an area that you think didn't get as much snow and ice as some of the other parts?
It got down to 15 degrees.
Oh, jeez. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
So everything froze over. We lost water for about 4 days.
Yeah.
But remember, Marina Sirtis thinks you deserve it.
Oh, she can go jump it.
Yeah, I know. I've been tirading at her for days. I'm expecting to lose some online accounts soon.
I was I just still can't get over the fact that Gary called her citrus.
Yeah, that's an insult. That is an insult to fruit everywhere.
At this point, it's like she doesn't deserve to have her name pronounced correctly.
So good on you, Gary. But Mr. Roy, thank you for joining us once again, and I'm glad that things have thawed out since then.
Yeah, it's 60. Let me look on the phone. Yeah, 66 right now.
Ooh, yeah. That's balmy compared to the 15 degrees, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's like 4 days of snow, and then it just went away in like a couple hours.
That sounds like southern weather. It's like in Louisiana, for instance, a cold front comes through. That's winter, and then all of a sudden, it's 31 days, 70 the next day. Oh yeah, great. Welcome to New Orleans, everybody. It's nice to be in a, where my area of Tennessee, because at least it's consistent, right? It's like we have seasons, and it's so nice. But thank you for joining us once again, Mr. Roy. Also joining us is Rosetta Allen. Rosetta, how's it going?
Busy.
Always.
Making a lot of projects like always. Right now, just sorting air hooks so I can start doing some jewelry stuff too.
Very, very cool. Yeah, because you got the pinup project going on. Of course, you got the Eagle project going on. You're working on a graphic novel comic still?
I'm working with different projects on that stuff. I'm still doing odd jobs for that. I'm still doing commission work. I'm still doing the photography drives, trips, streams, moderating, working in the inner city stuff. Basically, I don't sleep.
Wow. And of course, dealing with tons of ice and snow.
Of course. It's snowing right now, in fact. I can watch it out the window.
I'm so
there.
jealous.
Why? It's 4.5 to about 8 feet deep everywhere now.
Please send it my way. I would happily dig that snow out. Now, I'll say that this time, but I'm sure if I had to deal with it every single year, I'm sure that I would have a much different opinion. But for now, send it my way, please. Work your magic. But thank you again for joining us, Rosetta Allen. Also joining us is the Empress of the Universe. She is one of the one of the amazing Valkyries. She is, of course, Tina. Tina, how's it going?
This week has been up and down for me, but fade in, everybody, fade in. So I'm having a margarita right now. Rosa says she wants the full Tina experience. She is going to get it.
Go, Tina! Go, Tina!
No, like I said, I'm kind of having an up and down week. Today, 1 year ago, was my birthday cruise. We still don't know when cruising is going to get started because the CDC is just dragging. Norwegian has canceled all of their cruises up through the end of May. I figure June will be next. So I am reconciled that there will be no Alaskan cruise. I've made up my mind. I am looking ahead to next year, next September, when I can fly to Athens. Sharon and her husband are going. We're going to see the Greek islands. So it's like, I'll just put Alaska back on my bucket list. I'm good. I'm going to thank her. Stephanie's in the chat right now. I am going to thank her for letting me know about the death of Rush Limbaugh. I do not go on the Twitter main feed, but she was afraid that I might be going in there looking up one of the cruise companies or something and see these hateful people. Yeah. So she sent me like 911 through my text message and said, just wanted to let you know. Wow. And I have been all week, I've been up and down, because Rush was the person who guided me into conservatism, not Republican. I was brought up in a Republican family. But he made me see there were no party lines. It was more important for me to be a conservative. Gary said the other day on one of his live streams, there were two people that shook up radio in the early 90s. Howard Stern was one. Rush Limbaugh was the other. Yeah. The thing is, Howard sold out. Rush never sold out. I still remember people when Bush II got into office, they were like, well, you're not going to have anything to talk about. And he was like, I still have plenty to talk about. Yeah. I am not necessarily a Republican. If they do something wrong, I will call it out. And he did. So, yeah, he's going to be greatly missed. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't even a fan of his, but I respected what he was. And to see the horrible stuff people say and stuff, is like, I don't care who somebody is. I don't care if they're public, private, celebrity, anything. I don't care if they're a-hole, all this other stuff, or amazing, all this. The moment somebody dies, you shut your mouth and say, I hope their family deals with it. Yep. And that's all you say until people have mourned. Then thoughts and prayers. Lightly discuss and debate the other stuff.
Well,
shut your mouth when somebody dies and show respect.
I really had not been this. I don't get torn up over celebrities.
Yeah.
The last time I got this emotional was in Andrew Breitbart, and I'm going to say it, was murdered. And anybody that knows about Andrew Breitbart knows what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do.
I'm not going to make any apologies for it. So that was the last time I got this emotional. But anyway, yeah, this week has just been kind of up and down. I told Odin in our pre-chat that I gave up cursing and swearing for Lent.
It's been a tough week for that.
It's been a very tough week for that. So I'm doing well, and God willing, I will keep that up. And while Stephanie is still here, forgive me. While she is still here, I promised her I was going to read this because she's going to have to leave the chat in a little bit. But on Wednesday, February 24th, it will be the anniversary of Travis sending out his letter as a cry for help from the Alamo. And this is very short, and I'm just going to read it, and then you all, go ahead. To the people of Texas and all Americans in the world, fellow citizens and compatriots, I am besieged by 1,000 or more of the Mexicans under Santa Anna. I have sustained a continual bombardment and cannonade for 24 hours and have not lost a man. The enemy has demanded a surrender at discretion. Otherwise, the garrison are to be put to the sword. If the fort is taken, I have answered the demand with a cannon shot, and our flag still waves proudly from the walls. I shall never surrender or retreat. Then I call on you in the name of liberty, of patriotism, and everything dear to the American character to come to our aid with all dispatch. The enemy is receiving reinforcements daily and will no doubt increase to 3,000 or 4,000 in 4 or 5 days. If this call is neglected, I am determined to sustain myself as long as possible and die like a soldier who never forgets what is due to his honor and that of his country. Victory or death, William Barrett Trappist, Lieutenant Colonel, Commander.
Yeah, I've actually, to be perfectly honest, I've actually never heard that before. That's actually the first time that I've heard that.
It's engraved on a marble slab in front of the Alamo. And whenever I visit, I always get there. I've said it before. I always get there before the tourists come in. And I stand there and read that. And I know one time these ladies were like, they were looking at me because I was crying. And I was like, you don't know how this gets me. And I'm not even a Texan. But there were Kentuckians that died at the Alamo. And Sharon's told me I'm an adopted Texan because I stood in some bluebonnets a few years ago. So I am an adopted Texan.
Nice. That's awesome. And thank you again for being here. And for those that have don't know about Tina, she's a very a beautiful emotional soul, and things I think reach you that may not reach other people, but I think that we really honestly need that kind of emotion in this world, because I feel like we're kind of moving away from it. Yeah.
Thank you. When she makes the comment about Breitbart, and I start thinking back to all my, when it was more in the political system and less in the culture war, because I worked with the man, I helped host rallies with him, I spent time interacting with him, and he absolutely was that kind of guy who would reach to anyone to see if he could get them to change their mind or agree on something. And he had been telling people for weeks at his death that there were people trying to kill him. He'd been getting death threats, all this other stuff. And then he suddenly has a heart attack in the middle of nowhere and nobody can confirm anything.
Yes,
it's exactly. Like, I'm sorry, but it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I would need to do more research into it to have any thoughts on that myself. But I obviously I take y'all's word seriously. So
I knew the man, and he was an absolutely loving and sweet heart.
And that's one of the reasons why I think that the interview that I'm sure we'll talk about at some point, the interview that came out today with Gina Carano, is so important, because I think that she has kind of really helped raise the bar for all of us, right? To show that we need to be able to come to a point where we can just have discussions again, right? You know, no matter where we come from, no matter what our ideology, our philosophy on life, that we should be able to come together and have good discussions. So again, I'm sure that will come up as the stream goes on. But Tina, thank you again for joining us as always.
Oh, you're welcome.
And of course, we've got the modern Major General of the channel. We got the lovely Laura waiting for an erotic / Ryan stole my fan fiction story / what other names have you used? Anyway, she is rocking the Cara Dune profile picture today. Laura, how's it going?
Hello. I think the Cara Dune thing's going to be permanent. So,
Nice.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. It's
Yeah,
solid.
Good. Just happy to be here. I think California is about to come out of lockdown.
Oh, finally.
Wow.
Do you think it has any correlation, Laura, with the petition reaching a certain number of signatures?
Yeah, I mean, it's too late. Just the number of people that I talk to are pretty hardcore Democrats who are just kind of fed up. But yeah, it's... Hold on one second.
Yeah, absolutely. No problem at all. All right, we'll wait on... You back?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm back. This is my life, I guess.
Is it the puppy?
Yeah, puppies. No, I'm just happy to be here. Hopefully things will go smoothly. I might have to get in the car or something.
Oh no. Well, just remember, we are a dog-friendly channel here, so if the dogs need to show up, then they show up.
This is true. They are adorable.
You're pet friendly. You've never caused a problem with people having their pets show up on camera here.
Oh no, I mean my own pets show up on camera, so that'd be a really bad double standard to set if I didn't allow other people's pets to show up on camera.
She's looking at me like, I'll be quiet if I can just lay in here.
If I could just chill with you, I just want to hang out with you, Mom. Come on.
They do. So they give you that look when they come in the door. They know they're not supposed to, and they look at you like, I love you.
I love you. I love you. Don't you love me? I thought you loved me too.
No, I think we're supposed to be 25% indoor dining next week, which,
hey,
like, wow,
from 0% to 25%, at least it's something.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just ready for it all to be over.
Oh, yeah.
Something.
Yeah. As someone who, is in the classroom, I get to talk to my students about it all the time, and they are just, so many of them they're just so over it. And it's not even it's not even really the masks, to be honest. The thing that gets them the most is that they can't go to the football games like they used to do. They can't go to dances. They can't do these things that are so iconic in the high school structure that typically people have some of the better memories of high school from. So all they have is the school part and some weird conglomeration of the social stuff that's not anywhere even close. But they're just so, I'm right there with them, obviously, just so tired of it. So I'm glad to hear that there's at least some movement happening in your state, Laura.
Yeah. I'm glad that I don't have any school age children right now, because I would have to move. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Not being able to have them, especially all the other resources that come along with school.
Yeah.
All the other.
Are the public schools in California, are they still all at home?
So not only did they close all of the public schools, they even tried to reach out and close some of the private and religious schools. And then they went even further than that, and they tried to ban people who were like hiring tutors and having like groups study together. I mean, they kind of, went to the extreme.
Wow.
And,
so kind of going after homeschool co-ops a little bit?
Yeah, I forget what they were called, but yeah, you got the concept.
Yeah.
And that's where it's like, look, if you all want to not teach as a public, school union, okay, fine. So I have the choice to move my kid elsewhere.
The unions could stop teaching. I'd be really, really good with that. Really, really good with that.
To a point, because obviously, over time, I think it might be a better thing. But if they just all stop teaching altogether, that's a lot of students that have nowhere to go. Because there's so many students that can't even afford private education. So it's one of those things where it's this double-edged sword,
Wait. I wasn't saying teachers stop. I'm saying unions stop.
But here's the thing. In public schools, the vast majority of teachers, if I'm not mistaken, are part of teacher unions.
Yeah, because the states mandate it and regulate it to force them to be. Which is I have a problem with, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you're seeing it happen a lot in states like New York and California, especially, right, where so many of the public schools are being, what my principal mentioned at one point earlier in the year, that 70% of public schools across the entire country, right, 70% of all public school students hadn't been back in the classroom since lockdown began. And when I start to think about, well, New York and LA, or rather New York and California are some of the biggest, like, it makes a lot of sense that it would be around 70%, because that's where probably the vast majority of schools are because of just population sizes.
There was that school board out here that they got busted on a Zoom call.
That was them. Oh, okay.
That was here. Yeah, people want their babysitters back. And the entire school board resigned, which, it doesn't matter. It's just a rotating group of people with the same mind, But, yeah. Always assume your mic is hot.
Always. Because even if you take all the precautions in the world, there's always a chance. And as we all know, hot mics can get a lot of people in trouble. That's for sure. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting point, right, about how it is this like never-ending rotation of the same people with the same exact philosophy. As I said, we are indeed a animal-friendly channel here, as the little kitty cat is making their appearance. Look at the little kitty cat. Look at kitty.
This is Athena. This is the other one that you don't see as often.
Yeah, little.
I mean, that's the same thing for governor. I mean, unless you're gonna, when you recall Gavin Newsom, you vote in a new governor at the same time.
Yep.
But unless you're going to vote in a completely different philosophy, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, and California recently passed laws or voting regulations. Like, I was listening to a show the other day that kind of explained it, where they've almost cemented that only ever like a person of like a Democrat mind could ever get elected there because of the way they do the election, where it's like the top two vote getters. And so it's like, okay, then there's a good chance that both of them will probably be Democrat. And so therefore it's like this never ending. So it's not even a choice between two different philosophies. It's about, hey, who fits the, Democrat, ideology that you like better? And it's like, that's not really much of a choice, it seems.
No. Yeah, the choice voting, right.
Yeah. It's like, here I am like, we need third, fourth, fifth parties. And then California's like, oh, no. We're going to be a uniparty rule. It's like, I don't know about that.
We don't want to become Italy with their, how many parties do they have? 20, 30, 40? No.
If it's not done right, it can be problematic, I think. But I think there has to be a healthy mix that works in like the Democrat, the Republic system that we have. There has to be some kind of healthy mix that works. But
yeah, it's almost lunchtime here, so I'm going to get the house situated, food, and then pizza, maybe.
Perfect. Then... Yeah. Well, we'll go back. We'll go back to the rotation and see what everyone's been watching. So
I'll be back in a
Laura,
bit.
thank you for being here.
See you soon.
Yeah. All right. So before jumping back and talking about what people have been watching, consuming as of late, let's just say hello to the chat. Hello to everyone in the chat. I am streaming over on DLive this time around. Just so you know, though, I will not be able to check the stream as much. As you can see, it's showing up right now on screen. That's one of the reasons why. But also because I want to give all my attention as much as I can to The Chosen. So it says, Mr. Roy, Captain Mr. Roy, celebrating an 18-month sub streak. Well, thank you, Mr. Roy. Little streamception going on over there. Appreciate that. And Eric is over there as well, saying thank you very much for following and leaving some comments. I very much appreciate that. All right, let's head over to the YouTube chat. Who we got here today? We got Your Muslim Uncle. Hail to you. I appreciate it. And to answer your question, the people who are YouTube members that get shouted out at the end of every live stream, it's the Army of Asgard level and up. So that's the $5 level and up. If you're a YouTube member at that level, you get shouted out at the end of every live stream. And then, of course, if you're a Patreon Subscribe Star member, there's a video dedicated to all those people. And that's $1 or up for that shout out. Matthew Highlander here. What's going on? JKWX76 in here as well. Hail, hail, hail to everyone. We've, of course, got Tina B, who is going to be doing some double duty today. Rhaegar Targaryen in the chat. We got Gridania in the chat as well. Hello. Bruce Bryant Barth here. Rosetta Allen doing some streamception herself. Let's see. Ballin the Hobbit. Hail, Ballin the Hobbit. We got the Hunker Chunky Funky Monkey, who is best friends with Rosetta Allen.
Sometimes it feels that way. He's one of those I put up with a lot.
It's either a best friend or a worst enemy.
One of my best trolls. I mean,
pick your poison. At least he's an actual good troll. I saw that.
Oh, he's an amazing one.
Oh yeah. It's like General Wingster. Like he's a great troll because it's like he's funny. There are certain trolls on Friday Night Tights that we will not mention fully by name, who are the worst kind of trolls because they're all.
Yeah, I've got a few of them myself. In fact, some of them have been stalking me around the internet to harass me about a friend's son death a few weeks ago.
Oh no. That's when I would inform some type of official about that.
Oh, I've got Richard going around everywhere they do this stuff, reporting them and telling them off. So
for a second there,
Brit boy doing it.
For a second there, you were pointing down to the cat, and so I was like,
I was trying to point.
You're like, I got Richard doing that. I'm like, Richard the cat.
I was trying to point at the chat because he is actually in there paying attention.
It was like, but that's Athena. But I was just like, the way it was, I was like, is the cat informing?
Well, the cat's sometimes brighter than Richard is. I'm just kidding.
She's a cat informant, I see. Okay. This all makes sense. Rosie G12, heyo, glad to have you here. Thanks to listening while you work. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. I don't know why I just thought of that song.
Disney sucks. Work. They really, really suck.
Old school Disney though, was fire.
Really yeah, but
and by the way,
this right now, I gotta do that.
This hand symbol is the AOK symbol. It is not the other symbol. I'm just gonna put it out there. Dina B was saying that 70B had some CPU issues, but I saw that she was in the chat. So yeah. Soul, the unfrozen assassin. Very had to hear that you're unfrozen. Cafeteño Che, what's going on? Glad to have you back in the chat. I've seen that name before. Let's see. Anyone else? Nathan Slay, what's going on? How's it going? Andrew Hoyle doing some streamception. Andrew Hoyle, so glad to have you on the panel, man. We'll be talking about what you've been watching in just a second. Yeah. All right, let's see. Anyone else that have not... Richard, there he is. Richard 465.
Otherwise known as Spartan Jeremy. He's been around the community longer than I have.
That's Spartan Jeremy.
And he's the one that's my assistant on my channel now.
Wow.
So
Spartan Jeremy. Man, it's amazing how the Jer Army, how long it's been around. Still going strong. And now we got the RK Outpost Army, and it's hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
Pat S says, looks like the Summer Olympics will be canceled officially this week. Ooh, yeah. Tokyo, Japan, not going to be happy about that. No doubt about it. Let's see. Rosie G12 says, they should be crying for Cubans and Cuban Americans, not the monster commie. Ooh, some feisty words there.
We were talking about Castro, and I said, I remember the Cuban Americans celebrating in front of the Versailles restaurant in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
I understand where they're coming from.
Yeah.
But you saw that Oliver Stone was like, I didn't think he was going to make it. That was his hero. I was like, Oliver, calm down, please.
It's like, I understand like saying we shouldn't celebrate the death of anyone, like, because I get that. But when it's like, we were good friends, it's like, that's a bad take, man. Don't go that route. You don't want to go there.
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing to be like, hey, let's not celebrate death. It's like, okay, I can at least understand that one, but it's like, he was a good. No. Let's not say the word good and Castro in the same sentence, please. That's
there's only a few that I'm not going to say I celebrated. But maybe the corner of my mouth turned up when I heard about it.
There is a difference between you don't celebrate versus you give lip service to somebody they didn't deserve, like the weird stuff Amy Grant did, idolizing Ruth Bader Ginsburg and glorifying her to her daughters when she died. It's like, you do realize the stuff you confess to believe is contrary to everything she fought for.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking about Idi Amin Dada or some of them.
Well,
I have friended people and told them to screw off because they now attacking her death and harassing people too.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, when I see people idolizing with some of the stuff she did, I was like, no.
When it comes to dictators and people like that, if someone says like relief, especially if they were like someone who was a victim of that tyranny, I can understand like that sense of relief. Like, I think that totally makes sense to me. But yeah, I mean, I said this in my video on Gina Carano. It's like, I think that, or not on Gina Carano. I was talking about this in my OMB report video on Rush Limbaugh. Like, I was like, look, at the end of the day, I think that those are actually the perfect people to mention, right? RBG and Rush Limbaugh, because that's like two polar opposites. And for me, it's anyone that went out of their way to like praise anyone's death. It's just like I'm not all about that praising. Like, it's like, again, it's one thing if it's like a sense of relief because of, you know, someone doing something terrible, right? But the whole praising thing just, you know, it gets to me a bit. David Stout in the chat, that 70s rock fan in the chat, as well as Rosie212 says, don't mess with Texas. Orange at Review says, feed me cookies, I have arrived. Feed me, Seymour. That 70 Rocks fan says, when I was living in Texas, I visited the Alamo, and it was very emotional. As a Scot, I was pleased to see where Scott's listed in the Defenders.
Yes.
I love Texas. Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Does he mean like the Scottish people?
Yes.
Huh.
They have flags on the inside of every nation or state that's died at the Alamo, and yes, there is a Scottish flag there.
I miss when they used to have that for the founding of the country at Rushmore. They took it all out for a giant gift shop. They used to have a march of flags where you actually came down and went through all these different states and countries and everything else, and how they had something to do with what became the country and the history of these people on the monument and all this stuff. And it was really great. And they actually had plaques underneath each one explaining all that and everything. And they took it out because they needed more room for parking and gift shop. That, by the way, was Tom Daschle. That was a Democrat who did that. So, yeah.
See, whenever I hear about parking lots, there's only one thing I can think of.
Don't you dare say.
Don't you don't know what you got till it's gone. You pay paradise to put up a parking lot. Ooh,
Stop it.
The no's just make me want to keep on singing the song.
You want me to leave?
Fun fact, and I think I've mentioned this on the show before, Vanessa Carlton is the one doing those ooh bop bops in the background. A very talented artist, Vanessa Carlton.
I always wanted to be a Limbaugh girl.
Me too.
It's like, I wonder, it's like everyone was like, oh, I wish that could have been me. Ooh, bop, 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 ooh, bop, bop. It's a fun song, Rosetta.
No, it's not. It's horrible.
Embrace
it's horrible.
the fun.
It is a horrible hippie song.
I like that sign song. Sign, everywhere sign. Gina knows
that sign, everywhere sign.
Yeah.
I hate that one even more because that one's actually directly anti-private property.
Okay, well
Laura,
then I have the perfect
Laura,
song. Oh yeah, go ahead, Tina.
Laura, let's launch into some music by the Doors then.
No, yeah.
No, it's not a question of, I don't care who the band is, I don't care who the artist is. I'm good with most songs. I just have a problem with certain ones because of the message behind them.
Hey, I know a song that would definitely trigger you, Rosetta.
This is the end.
Imagine all the
No.
people.
Ignore that song and just go listen to the version Tim Hawkins did, and I'm good.
So I think I mentioned this in a stream the other day, but
the version that Tim Hawkins did of Imagine is freaking amazing.
I
my brother's high school girlfriend was one of the Doors drummer's daughter. So
really?
For real?
That's fun.
Oh my god!
Or everybody
Wow.
with their feet.
Brush with greatness.
You're not a freak.
So my dad went to high school with Ellen DeGeneres.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, and it's funny. No, not high school. Maybe no, it was college. But he even went on record. My father, I'm gonna say, he went on record to say, yeah, she kept trying to be funny and she wasn't funny.
Oh wow!
So she was trying to be a class clown, and he was just like, he wasn't having it. So he didn't think she was funny from a very early age in his life, from when he was in college. But yeah, so what I was trying to say was that I finally listened to the actual, like I read the actual lyrics to Imagine, and I was like, this is the Communist Manifesto in a song. And then sure enough, it's like if you look up anything about it, you know, even he on it, someone put it in the chat. I think maybe it was even Pat S or someone, or it was like Pat S or Hardwick. One of them said, yeah, here's a quote actually from, you know, from him, where he's saying clearly that this is essentially the Communist Manifesto in a song.
And when that song came out, remember I said that in one of the chats, and I said, my mother said that is a very lost soul, that he wrote something like that he didn't want a heaven, he didn't want a hell, he would rather be in some in-between place, because he won't have to answer for anything.
State of nothingness.
There's a lot of that comes out when you do a lot of karaoke, because you're kind of like, you know, reading along with the person as they're singing. And you're like, oh my god, the lyrics.
So I thought you were taking that a different. I thought you were saying like, yeah, you get to that state in life when you do a lot of karaoke.
That you like, just want to go in through.
It's like, wait, I've done a lot of karaoke and I've never felt like I don't want to heaven or hell.
What was it? Brown Sugar by the Rolling Stone.
Mm.
The lyrics, you're like, I can't sing that. Oh my god.
Yeah, when you go to like a classic rock songs, you're like, oh, these songs were very dirty, and I never realized it before.
I don't mind dirty.
I mean, the thing that always got me was Grease. Because, you know, you think of that Grease, and it's like, oh, the fun, like, hip songs. And then you listen to Grease Lightning, and you're like, oh, boy. I'm supreme, a triple cream. It's like, did you just say what I just think you just said? Yes, you did.
Is that from the Grease musical?
That must be some car.
I never.
Either that or it's just a car with no struts.
I'm a proud owner of Grease on 4K.
Wow.
Everyone please ignore my comment.
So I won it, actually. I listened to this. There's this great movie podcast that unfortunately had to. They shut themselves down. It was called Movie BS with Baron Snyder. It was a great movie podcast. And they would let members, you know, they would say, hey, we have this giveaway. And so they'd let members email them and everything. And so I won a couple of movies from that. I won Life on Blu-ray, the one with Jake Gyllenhaal, which was a pretty good thriller, pretty good space thriller. And yeah. And then I also won the 4K. It was actually a Grease package. So I got the 4K Grease. I got a like Thunderbirds jacket, which was 3 sizes too small. But I wore it anyway, just once, just to, you know, be like, look what I got. And then it came with like a couple other things too. And I was like, yeah, because that's.
I like Grease too, even.
That was my big sister's favorite. She loved Grease too.
I thought it was cute.
Grease too.
Oh no!
Orange Hat says, wait, they got rid of Newsom. So no, they just got the number of signatures needed to actually be able to bring the election up is essentially what happened.
Sweet.
Even though now they're like all about that signature verification when it comes to this. It's like,
isn't that funny?
Isn't that interesting? Hunkin' Chunky Funkin' Monkey dropped a $2 donation via Streamlabs and says, let it go, I am one with the wind and sky.
Oh, is that the rest of that song?
No, you don't want to. At least he's been good with those. You should see the lyrics he's been coming up with for songs in my chat the last couple.
Oh
of weeks.
Lord.
He's been coming up with
spoofs to
songs. He has been coming up with spoofs to songs to make fun of me and Richard with.
Okay.
We'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Not appropriate for the Catholic school teacher lyrics. Let's put it that way.
Speaking of which, Pat S. My wife and I just started watching Dairy Girls. Man, it's a funny show. We have to have our subtitles on because we can't understand a word they're saying. And I'm sure Andrew Hoyle might be able to confirm this. Some of these Irish people, man.
It's hard for me to follow. And I have an Irish drum.
But by proximity, you're close enough, so therefore you should all understand each other, right? No. But no, so far it's been fun.
Andrew, that's not how it works, is it?
It's like, oh, y'all might as well be from this. Because they're actually.
No.
This show takes place in Northern Ireland, which is essentially part of the UK. So theoretically.
Right.
Obviously not. It'd be like saying people from New York are the same as people from Texas. It's like, there's some cultural differences there.
But that's one of the ones I got was somebody who told me after she made a bunch of anti-native comments in one of my chats that she respected my culture because she adopted a Mohawk kid. So she respected my Midwestern monotheistic Plains tribe culture because she adopted a kid from a Northeast multi-theistic tribe. And that's like telling somebody German you respect their culture because you adopted somebody Scottish.
That's like me saying I understand and respect your culture because I adopted X-ray. It's like, that's not how it works.
And I'm like, they're going, did she really just say that? Okay.
For me, it's like, I hope you didn't adopt the child just so that you could have the right to say that, because you don't have the right to say that, first off. But also, it's like, really? That's your logic?
I just sat there in shock going, did I really just read that in my chat? What the crap just happened?
Shocked,
here?
I tell you. Shocked to see that there's gambling going on in this establishment.
And then I went off on her.
Tina got that reference.
Yes, I did.
Nathan Slay, I like Grease. I wouldn't call myself a big fan. That's just, I was like, hey, it's free stuff, so might as well put my name in for it.
Wow, not a ringing endorsement. Wow.
But I do like
That was
Grease.
free, you know.
I do like Grease. It's fine. It's fine. That's how he's rock fan says, best line in Grease, if you can't be an athlete, be an athletic supporter.
I never actually saw Grease, so
Really? Of all the movies you've seen, never Grease?
I don't remember. I
don't
do not like John Travolta, and I didn't even think he could act until I saw Pulp Fiction.
Can we get like a
Wait, what was that? What was that, Laura?
Can we get like a complete list of actors that Tina hates right now?
Tom Cruise.
Wait. I'm going to agree with her on Travolta's awful actor. However, I saw way too many things that were really horrible as a child because my dad always had this crush on Olivia Newton-John. So freaking even had to watch Xanadu.
I did too. So
that was considered one of the worst movies of all time. No, John Travolta, I didn't even like him when he was on Welcome Back, Kotter.
I loved him on Welcome Back, Kotter. I love that show.
No, he was. I love the show.
The show was good. He was the worst of it.
I just thought he was very annoying.
No.
And then when
Travolta
he did
sucks.
I didn't even see Saturday Night Fever until a couple of years ago, and I was like, okay.
See, I don't like that movie.
He is good in this. He is good in this.
See, I actually don't like that movie.
I didn't like it per se. I just thought, I was like, all these years it's taken me to finally see Saturday Night Fever. But the soundtrack rocks.
Yeah,
so,
soundtrack is great. I will give you that much for
the
sure.
The soundtrack is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Odin.
Yeah.
Before Stephanie has to jump out of the chat,
yes.
I just want to mention this, and I'm gonna mention it through the show.
You
asked me the last chosen how many YouTube channels I sub to.
Yeah.
I went and counted all of them.
How many?
I sub to 147.
Oh my!
Wow. Do you keep up with all 147?
No.
Okay.
No, some of these I think are ones that like I was on a chat or something and somebody said, hey, we're trying to give so-and-so support. And so I subbed to them.
Yeah.
But throughout the chat, I want to do a shout out to some of these that people might be interested in subbing to.
Yeah.
Laura knows one, Alatori. She's incredible. So I'll talk about her, but before Stephanie leaves, I've got these categorized under, I'm not even going to mention Fandom Menace, but like the genre-driven ones, movie study ones, historical, comedy, political commentary, and then I have miscellaneous. Well, our Stephanie B and It's a Trap Productions are under my miscellaneous, and that doesn't make them any less.
Yeah.
But Stephanie will occasionally drop a video and it's just the kind of make you feel good. And it might only be 30 seconds or so, but you can't help but smile.
Yes.
And It's a Trap. He does his gaming. I'm not really a gamer, but sometimes I'll just go in and thumb his chat up just, to be supportive to him.
Yeah.
And, but that's two that I wanted to mention, and I'll mention some of the others later. Yeah. So everybody get a pen and paper, because I don't have links. You'll have to look them up for yourself on YouTube, but I'll throw some of them out and you might actually hear one that you're interested in.
Nice. Well, yeah, I can definitely back up Stephanie B for sure, because her videos, as you said, you're perfectly correct on that, is that they just make you feel good. They just make you smile. And then It's Trap Productions has been a long time supporter of the channel, so I will completely back It's Trap Productions. That dude's great. He does a lot of gaming, and he's a good dude. So shout out to It's a Trap Productions for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. You said it. Absolutely.
But I wanted to get that in because I know she's got to leave, and I was like, I want to do my miscellaneous because I knew she was on there, and then I'll touch on some of the others later.
All right. Sounds good. That's Tony's Rock Fan says I should watch Father Ted. Father Christopher Miller tells me that all the time.
Yeah, Father Ted's good.
Yeah.
Father Ted's hilarious.
So you're a big fan of it, Andrew?
Yes. It's a pretty old show. I think it was the 90s when it was first out, but it's very funny.
Nice. Rosie G12 had mentioned never seen Xanadu. Fun fact, I've never seen the movie Xanadu. I saw it while it was on Broadway. There was a revival of it. I actually, because of the way student tickets worked at that time, I actually got to be on the stage. So they had seating on the stage. And so at one time, I was sitting next to one of the like workers, like because they had an extra seat available, and so like she was like, "Oh, by the way, there's a time in the show where you're gonna be asked to dance," and I was like, "Hey, I'll dance, but only if you do the hip bump with me." And so she's next to me, and so we're dancing, and so we're just we're bumping hips, and I'm like, "Yeah," it was fun. So that was my Broadway debut of dancing.
Bad boy.
Of bumping hips.
Good bump.
I was leaving room for the Holy Spirit, during the bumps.
I wish that there was video of that. That would be hilarious.
Yeah, but I mean, since people aren't allowed to, in general, to film those, unless they had been that night as like a filming night, that'd be funny if that was out there somewhere. Look, it's Odin bumping hips on Broadway.
So can you technically say you were once on Broadway?
I could. Yes, I can. I can, absolutely. It's different than when I saw Equus. If anyone knows Equus, I saw.
Oh, you did?
I saw Equus with Daniel Radcliffe, and yeah, so Daniel Radcliffe was in it, and then Uncle Vernon, the guy that played Uncle Vernon, God rest him, he was also in it too. And but yeah, so I got to see Daniel Radcliffe butt naked, and I was in the seats that were behind the stage. So literally, we're looking down on them. So like here I am, just like looking down like this, and it's like, oh, Daniel Radcliffe. You were in Harry Potter, and I could see there were teenage girls in the audience, and I guarantee you they had no idea what was going on or that this is what it was going to be. They're probably Harry Potter fans, and then all of a sudden they're there with their parents, and I'm just like, ooh, he's naked right now.
Oh, the word that Harry Potter was naked was pretty much the only thing driving people to go to the
yeah.
So.
Which is kind of weird when you think about it, because you're like, he was an adult when he was in the show, but it was like, that's a kid that we saw grow up on screen.
Yeah, it's like when Maisie Williams in Game of Thrones took her top off. Or had side boob or something. We were like, no.
Well, no, the whole thing with that was that in my head, she was still a teenager. And then it wasn't until later where it's like it wasn't until later that like she was an adult when they did that. And I was just like, it just, again, because you, just like you said, right? Because we grew up with her on screen, it was like, no, this doesn't seem right. It just doesn't seem right.
Maisie.
Yes, no, Maisie, no. The new number 2 in the chat as well. And I do need to... All right, so we're back in the live chat. Let's go ahead and go down the line, see what everyone's been watching. So we'll start off with Andrew Hoyle. What you been watching, man? Any movies, TV shows, anything worth talking about?
I've not really watched that many films recently. I've been trying to collect movies and shows for my own media server that I'm having at home because I got rid of Netflix and Disney Plus. So, but with shows, we've been watching Community, 30 Rock again. It was just all the old shows where there's no woke stuff in it.
Yeah,
like quick, turn it off or skip this episode. So we tend to go back and rewatch things that we've enjoyed in the past. Because at the moment I've been working a lot from home, so I don't really have that much time to sit and watch a show or a full-length feature. I'll probably just put something on in the background, so there's something there.
So you mentioned Community. I love it's specifically up until it went to, because didn't it go to Yahoo for a hot second?
That was the final series. Did it get cancelled or was it on hiatus and some of the actors couldn't come back, and then it went downhill. And then the guy who created it came back for the final series. That's the one that went on to Yahoo. But we're not up to that yet. I think we're just on series 4.
Okay,
so we've not got to that part yet.
Yeah, because the big campaign that they were trying to get was like 6 seasons in a movie. Like they were like they actually got that trending, and they showed that they had a really big fan base, and so I want to say they got the 6th season, but I don't think they ever got the movie, just because the 6th season I don't think was as successful.
No, I think it did quite. The ratings were quite good on it, but I don't think because it was on Yahoo, nobody saw it.
Yeah.
Because I know, I mean, we don't get Yahoo over here. It was other means that I had to watch it with.
Yeah. Well, it's just like what happened with Cobra Kai. Like, it was on YouTube Red. Yeah. No one saw it because very few people actually wanted to invest in YouTube Red. And then all of a sudden it gets put out on Netflix. And then all of a sudden everyone's talking about it. And here I am like, I watched this thing back when it was on YouTube Red. And it's like, I'm glad that y'all are enjoying it, though.
Well, wow, what a great cast. I just looked it up.
Yeah. Another show that was on YouTube Red was Wayne. I've already seen it, but my wife hadn't, so we rewatched it and we just finished it last night. That was another show that was on YouTube, and it got cancelled after one season. But I think I read that it's Amazon Video have just put it on there. I think it was November when it's shown up on there, so there's talk that they may get a second series with that. Huh. But that was a really good show. That was by the guys who did Zombieland and Deadpool, who made that.
Ah, okay.
So I would tell people to go and search that if you've not watched it already to give that a watch. It's a good show.
Okay, very cool. It kind of reminded me of another show that was like behind the scenes, behind the paywall a bit. Did you ever hear of the show called Origin with Tom Felton from the Harry Potter franchise?
Yes, the sci-fi. Were they on a ship going to another galaxy or something?
I mean, I'd say because it's been so long. It's a group of strangers stranded on a spacecraft bound for a distant planet. Abandoned passengers must work together for survival, but quickly realize that one of them is far from who they claim to be.
Yeah.
And that was another one of these YouTube Red programs. And I just found out because I thought that it was going to come back. That's another series I watched with my wife, and we actually liked it a lot because she's a big sci-fi fan
so that's
too.
Coming back.
No, it got apparently on March 25th, 2019, YouTube canceled the series after one season. Oh. That makes me sad.
Because there was another, I did remember that there was another show that they had. I think that got 2 seasons. But I can't remember the name of it. It was a TV sequel to Jumper, was it? That really naff sci-fi film with, is it Hayden Christensen?
It's Hayden Christensen, yeah.
Yeah, they made a TV show, and I think it was about his daughter or maybe someone related to him. And it was half decent, but I think that got cancelled too because they just got rid of all their shows.
Wow. Yeah, I have a confession to make. I actually like the original movie Jumper. I don't know why.
Like that movie too.
I think it's because I love the concept, and so I let the concept just take over the bad writing, acting, and all the other stuff going on. Because objectively, it's not a very well-made movie, but I just enjoy the concept of someone being able to literally do like he's doing instant transportation from Dragon Ball Z, eras. I'm like, that's just awesome because that's of all powers I've ever wanted. It's instant transmission.
Is that Hayden Christensen movie?
It is.
Uh-huh.
It is the Hayden Christensen.
Jamie Bell in that too.
When he was in his prime. You're welcome.
When I finally said, "Wow, this guy might actually have a career in front of him without George Lucas."
I know it's like you see Jumper and you're like, "Oh, this seems like a big budget film." And Samuel L. Jackson, I think, was in the movie, I believe, and was rocking like blonde hair, like bleach blonde hair, which was hilarious.
Interesting choice.
Yes,
it's a bold choice for sure. But yeah, it's like, oh, maybe he's got a career. Maybe not. Father just said no. Father just said no absolution for you. Oh, Father, no. Father, don't tell me this.
Hayden Christensen did like a community, a charity soccer game the other day, and he just looked so excited and happy just to not be acting anymore.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I think he's found his niche, right? It's just, going out, doing these types of events, obviously in the future, going to, Star Wars celebrations, things like that, because, at the end of the day, just if we ever wanted to dive into like the art of acting and his career and everything like that, I'm sure we could have a pretty big discussion. But I think that most of us will agree that he had a major impact on most of our lives because of the character he played. And also has led to some of the greatest memes of all time. And I mean, gotta show love and support for that.
It was funny though. They were filming him as he was kind of warming up on the sidelines, and just the love coming from the crowd. He was just, he had this big smile on his face.
Oh yeah.
He's like waving at everybody. I was like, oh, that's
one
so
of the coolest things was the one Star Wars celebration I went to. I was able to go with the Geeks and Gamers crew, and it was the first time Ahmed Best had returned to Star Wars Celebration, who voiced Jar Jar Binks, and the amount of love he got was so cool to see. And I know that he went through a very traumatic experience in his life, right? He got, to one of the darkest points of his life, almost took his own life. And the fact that he was able to come back to this universe that led to a lot of that darkness and just get love and support, it was just powerful to watch.
Yeah, sorry about the Alan Tudyk autograph session.
Yeah, luckily he was great though. Like, it's just, because for those that don't remember, I had signed up to get a picture with him because I love Alan Tudyk. I think he's a great actor. He seems like a genuinely good person too. And I ended up doing like a live stream of one of the events that was not being live streamed by Disney. It was just one of the events they chose not to. So I had a ton of people watching, and so I was doing the live stream for it, and I missed my window by a few minutes, but it had already ended. The entire thing had already ended. And so I went back and I was like, I'm 5 minutes late. It's like, seriously, like he's already gone. There's nothing that can be done. There's no other, because like it's like I leave tomorrow. There's nothing else, and they're like, nope. And there's no refund policy as well. And so I was luckily enough able to get it transferred over to an autograph signing. So I was able to talk to him at the very least, and it was really cool. He's such a nice guy.
It did work out. Okay, I was because you were into the Rebels panel, and I was excited.
I was streaming the Rebels panel because no one else was streaming it. Not even Disney was streaming it. So
I felt so horrible about that. I was like, oh my god, you must have...
It all worked out in the end anyway, because I was able to talk to him about his dogs because he has rescues, and I was able to tell him that we have rescues as well. And I actually this was before Thomas, long before Thomas, and so I was looking into, I basically was just like, hey, by the way, could you make this out to River and Willow, to the dogs? Because I mentioned that they were my dogs, he was like, congratulations, you're being rescued. And I was like, yes, perfect line from his role. So yeah.
Oh, that's so nice. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else you've been watching, Andrew?
Well, I'm trying to think. I did watch For All Mankind. That was on Apple TV. That's one of the few streaming services that we've got left, and that's only because we got it for free for 12 months when I bought a new Apple phone last year.
Yeah, I got that same thing too.
It's up, I think it's up for renewal, but I don't think I'll bother with it.
Mm-hmm.
There's not much on there.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a decent show. I think it's just been renewed as well. It just started again.
Yeah.
Other than that, I've been working quite a lot, and my wife, because my wife's a teacher, so she's always on a computer doing lesson plans. So we don't really, like I said, we don't get time to sit down and watch something together.
Yeah, I hear that. You mentioned about building up a media server. What did you decide to go with?
Let me just check. I've not actually bought it. I was getting the files first.
Mm-hmm.
So I've not actually bought a server yet.
Okay.
I've not decided which one to go with.
Are you going to get the pre-built, or are you going to try and build your own?
No, I'm going to build my own.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just get because I've got plenty of hard drives, because I'm actually making my own video game. So I've got countless hard drives all over the place. So I'll be using plenty of those. So I just need the actual, the box to put them into.
Nice. Very cool. Yeah, I know when I was looking into getting a server and having one, I was talking to Comics Division a lot about it. And he kept pushing, build your own server, here's all the stuff. But I was looking into it. I'm like, this just is... Because I've built my own computer, which was already, everyone knows, if you've been with the channel for a long time, that was a struggle on many different levels just to get that thing up. Let's say it's.
I have fond memories of that.
Yeah, that video's still up. That video's still available somewhere. I remember I had Mr. Peabody on. I had I think Dion was on with me too. And like it was just me. No one else could hear them because I hadn't been able to figure out how to like, get the audio through the stream. So I have these headphones on, these like wireless headphones on, and I'm listening to them, and everyone's just looking at me talking to myself because they can't hear anything. And I'm just like, I'm so confused. It didn't work. We found out that the RAM, like one of the sticks of RAM was bad. And so, it's just a whole process. Yeah. And it was so funny because I started off that stream so excited, so pumped. And then,
did.
Yeah. Went downhill very quick.
You need Henry Cavill to help you build your next computer.
Dude, when I saw that too, I was like, look at Henry Cavill. Like he's got everything. He's got the muscles. He's got
things upside down.
And I'd watched so many videos to get ready for it. But yeah, I'll never look like Henry Cavill putting a computer together. That's a fact.
No.
Shocker.
What about Tina's just like,
Shocker.
no, you won't.
No.
But no, so because of that though, I was just like, there's just all these different things going on, and so I ended up getting a Synology NAS, which actually it's a very well put together machine, and it does everything I need it to. And actually, I've gotten to the point now where I'm at some point need to buy like an extension, like the expansion unit, because I've got all 5 of my 10 terabyte drives, so it's good stuff.
Yeah, they sell a 5-bay expansion unit, I believe works with
yeah
unit.
Yeah, because underneath it on Newegg that tells you that there's an expansion unit, and that the label, like the actual like model unit number. So that's like one of the next things I'm gonna have to look into getting. But so you're gonna build your own Andrew. That's what was that, Laura?
I saw a random TikTok about going to thrift stores and buying old like TV boxes that they have a 1 terabyte drive in them. To like rip them open, and if you know how to do that kind of thing.
Interesting.
Take the hard drives out.
And what kind of boxes are these?
Like DirecTV, UVerse boxes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Record all of your.
Yeah, most of those are going to be, especially the newer ones, they're going to be laptop drives. They're not going to be.
Oh, it's like what 3.5 or 2.5 versus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on the size of the box. If it's a really big box, it'll probably be a 3.5. But if it's a smaller box, it's going to be a 2.5.
And you said that word box, and now all I can think of is what's in the box. What's in the box.
You already need space because freaking that's 50 terabytes you got in your.
Oh no! I got so no. It's one of those things where I've just reached the point of expansion has like my rate of expansion has ended, and so yeah, I don't need it now. So it's not going to be like my next purchase necessarily. But if I want to get any more hard drives, which again sometimes are on sale, and I'm like, oh, it's on sale, but it's bad. I have an addiction to storage. What can I say?
Yeah, I got 2 8s and 2 10s in mine. I don't think I'm going to run out of space anytime soon.
Yeah. Well, because keep in mind, like I have my own personal collection, which is like hundreds of movies and several shows. But then I also have the preservation space too, and those are full actual like direct copies of Blu-rays and DVDs. Because the whole point of that was to, if for any reason a company ever said, we are stopping this movie, we are not producing it anymore, and it's gone, I would have at least the ability to replicate it. It was the mindset with it. But that takes up a lot of space, too.
Yeah, I gave up on 4K and just started ripping Blu-rays.
Yeah, dude, I ended up... Yeah, and thank you again for sending me that drive. I'm sad that it kind of like, kicked the bucket. But I was able to pick up this like Archgon external drive that does the same thing. So I've been able to continue backing this. Speaking of 4Ks, that's a great segue. I was able to pick up a couple 4Ks recently. So the Patriot on 4K. So I actually realized I used to own this Patriot on DVD, but then I gave away or sold all my DVDs before I left New Orleans. I like put it all in a box, and then there's like these apps that you can like scan them all, and then you'll get like $10 for 100 DVDs because that's just what they're worth.
That's the Mel Gibson Patriot, right?
Yeah, Mel Gibson Patriot. Yeah, and
there's a Patriot with Steven Seagal.
Oh, there is.
Is there really?
I remember that. Yes.
I guarantee.
I feel like I need to watch that.
I feel like that movie is gonna be great for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Is it fat Steven Seagal or skinny Steven?
It's semi-fat Steven Seagal.
All I can think of is
that guy has done so much stuff to me.
Now all I can think of is the YouTube channel Fat Steven Seagal. Always like the last part's always changed.
Yeah, the guy who's got everybody trying to use inappropriate words as my stream ends, thanks to him doing it.
Oh, he jumps into your streams for that?
He literally, I did my whole sweet farewell, my tribal stuff, all that, and right as it was cutting off, he goes, penis!
Oh,
and he's trying to get everybody else to do that to me now.
Oh, Lord.
Oh. My youngest sister and I went to see on, what is it called? The Steven Seagal movie on, was it Forbidden Ground or, oh shoot.
I wouldn't know.
Anyway, we were the only two people in a theater full of people that were laughing because the movie is hysterical. And it's not supposed to be.
There was one that he was in where he like had to either break out of a prison or break into a prison, and it's like some rappers in the movie with him too. And at one point he has to say like, "Are we all right?" And it's like, "No, we aight." I don't remember what the movie is, but gosh, so cringe.
On Deadly Ground. It's got Michael Caine in it.
Michael Caine.
Oh my gosh.
Michael Caine.
He was in between Christopher Nolan movies, I guess.
He needed a paycheck, you think? He needed a new house?
New house, yeah.
Yeah, it's old. Hell, this movie's made back in '94. It's actually kind of old.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Hey, fun fact. All of Steven Seagal's movies have 3 words in them. Above the law, hard to kill,
Yes.
out for justice.
That is interesting.
Marked for death on deadly ground.
That's it. That's the one me and my sister saw on Deadly Ground.
That's great.
Yeah, we were laughing so hard, and people kept looking at us, and we're like, "What? Don't you think this is funny too?"
Fire down below sounds like a personal problem. You might want to get that checked out.
Also, Geek True 64 has just spit some facts. He says, I think Steven Seagal works for the Walmart $5 bin nowadays. I think it's so funny because actually, if you mention that, if you go to any bargain bin, I guarantee you Steven Seagal films will be there.
They will now.
Oh, there's like 15 more, really.
Well, what's the one where he's on the is it the boat or the train, or he did it Under Siege? I guess that's his only 3.
The only two word. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to my main point. Patriot on 4K.
Sorry.
I'm kidding. It's Patriot 4K. I had a DVD of it at one point. Didn't have it on Blu-ray, so I decided to get the 4K. Shout out to John Flickinger because he was the one promoting this a lot. So I ended up picking that one up. And then finally, I was able to pick up Peninsula, which is the Train to Busan sequel. Haven't watched it yet. But what are you laughing at, Rosetta?
No.
All right. Anyway, Peninsula on 4K.
You want this down? Do it.
Oh, jeez.
I thought you were laughing. Never mind.
If I was there, I'd smack you on the back, Rosetta.
Breathe, damn you. But anyway, those are my 4K titles that I was able to pick up. So. Before moving on from Andrew Hoyle, anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think you just covered it.
Very cool.
I would promote my game, but I have nothing to promote yet, so
okay.
I'll wait till the next time.
Yes, absolutely. And then, when we get ready for the next time, just have any links and stuff like that ready to go.
Yeah, sure.
We'll promote it.
My niece is actually in school for, I guess you call it game design.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I don't know if you need anything. Just reach out to me on what are we on now?
Discord.
What's
the name of it again?
Discord. If I don't know if she needs to do like a senior project or anything. She's at her final year of school, so.
All right, cool. So I'll keep that in mind.
She might be able to help you out.
Yeah. What kind of game is it going to be? Like a single player or like what's the genre? Well,
the story was for a single player, but the people I've been working with have said we need to get a multiplayer in there.
Okay.
So it's going to be a open world RPG type of game.
They're very popular nowadays.
Yeah. Well, the story I had was born from a TV series that I had while I worked at the BBC. That was going to be a TV show, but. Well, I was speaking to people there before I left, And then I spoke to someone after I left, and they said it would probably make a better video game than it would do a TV series because it would be very expensive to make.
Okay.
So it's it went on the back burner for quite a while, but then I just decided to, work it out on my own. It was basically after watching the guys on Friday Night Tights, when Az was saying, make your own content.
Mm-hmm.
And they can't cancel. So I thought, well, I'll just get that. So I reached out to a few friends, a few other people, and we just got the ball rolling, really.
Nice. Very good. And did I just hear in all that you said that you also used to work for the BBC?
I did. I was hoping you'd
Nice.
breathe past that because I didn't like it.
Okay.
No, when I was there, it's nothing what I'd imagine it is now because I left, was it 2007? So
Okay.
14 years ago. And I don't think there's anybody who's still there who I would know. The last person I know was a few years back, and they were saying it was really getting bad for the woke ideology that we're trying to force on what it is now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad I left when I did.
Oh yeah, because could you imagine being there having to defend shows like Doctor Who?
Yeah,
and
I know. I'm so glad that I don't have to after watching everyone rip it to shreds.
So maybe you can tell me a little more, because I know Az has talked about this a little bit. Y'all essentially pay like a tax that goes towards the BBC, or how does that work?
The license fee.
Okay.
It's well, I don't pay. I've not actually paid it since before I worked for the BBC because you got a free license free while you were there. But after I left, I refused to pay it anyway.
Okay.
But you said it's. I'm not. They're trying to make it where it's not illegal anymore for you if you don't pay it.
Okay.
But at the moment,
so you're a criminal, is what you're saying?
Yes, I think it's £140 a year. I think. Like I said, I haven't paid it for a while, so it might not even be that anymore.
Wow.
But it's mandatory. Everyone has to pay it.
That's insane.
And the stuff on there is crap anyway. So
yeah.
It's like paying for Netflix and not watching it. It's like, why would you do that?
That's why I gave up Netflix.
Yeah.
I was going to say.
That's kind of.
But it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is kind of like a TV tax. When you go out to a store and buy a new TV, you were always given a form to fill out to say, I bought this television, so I need to fill in for a TV license, and you send it off.
So you can't buy a TV unless you get the license?
I'm not too sure nowadays because I buy my TVs off Amazon, so they just come to the door.
That's a great point.
But it used to be at one point where you could go to an electronics store, and that's if you bought a television, that a form would come with it that you had to fill out and send it back to whoever.
I guess if there's only one positive thing to say about Amazon, it's that, hey, get around that pesky little fee.
Yeah. But this
I'm going to have to get going. I'm not feeling very good.
Oh, no. Okay.
Okay.
Do you want to at least show off my picture I did for you?
Yes, absolutely. Go ahead and you still have it?
Yeah.
All right. So Rosetta did a wonderful picture of me and baby Thor, and it's very, very precious. So I'll go ahead and boost the screen up. Boom. Look at that. That's awesome. I appreciate especially the attention to my beard.
Yeah, that was a pain in the ass. By the way, I did this on live stream. Hunky and a lot of them knew I was doing it for you and didn't tell you.
Well, that's awesome. That's fantastic. And also, since you're not feeling too well, anything you want to shout out before you head out?
Other than I give thanks to, as much as I'm teasing them, give some support to my Brit boys because Richard and Hunky and them have been very helpful and very supportive over the last bit, and even give some niceness to Gentry because he actually is a nice guy when he's not lazy.
Mm-hmm.
I see you in chat, Will.
and she just called you lazy. But anyway, Rosetta, I hope you start feeling better.
Take care, everybody.
All right, have a good one.
Bye.
Oh, bye.
And yeah, I hope you feel better, Rosetta. And Will Gentry had put in the BBC license fee is no different than paying for a streaming service, really. You don't have to pay for it, but they will check to make sure you're not set up to receive it. So it's like you don't have to, but if you don't, you're in trouble?
Yeah, Yeah, if you say you don't watch the BBC, if you don't watch terrestrial television and you don't watch the BBC's online app, then you don't have to pay. I think that's what Az was saying in some of his streams. That I saw he said that he doesn't pay for it. But yeah, if you do watch television, if you put on BBC or BBC Two or ITV, then you have to pay it.
Wow.
Well, I say you have to pay it. No, I don't. I don't know anybody, honestly, who does still pay it.
Be amazing if you had to go to jail if you didn't pay it.
Yeah.
Oh, what you in for? I didn't pay my license fee. Man, that's hardcore.
I'm in for murder. What are you in for? Pay my license fee.
And you know what? I guarantee you there might be. Yeah, go ahead.
I do know somebody who went to jail for stealing cable, so it does happen.
Yeah.
That's stealing cable, right? It's one thing. It's like if you're stealing it from someone else, but if you're, just not paying a fee, it's like, I think
it was probably the hundreds of people that he helped steal cable.
That will make a big difference, that's for sure. All right. Yeah, very, very cool. Awesome. That's it's always awesome to talk to y'all and to find out more and more about y'all's background and everything. So former BBC employee Andrew Hoyle, welcome to the
No,
don't do it.
Don't mention me to that company.
No.
Let us know when you get your server up and we can send you some stuff that you want.
Yes.
Yeah, cool.
And also, of course, just let me know if there's any films you need.
Well, I have a huge list that I'm still trying to get, but I'll work through them.
Oh, very, very cool. By the way, I did, someone, I think it was like the last stream, someone had mentioned it, maybe it was like the last Chosen stream, where people wanted me to make like a wish list, and I finally did make one. So I would say that if you wanted to, you could probably make a public wish list too. And then that way people could be like, ooh, let me send you this. And, it was also really cool because I think you had won one of the giveaways, and weren't you the one that made a comment saying like he got this to me in a few days, and I've been waiting weeks for something else.
I've been waiting. I think I won it on the Thursday, and you said it'll be with you Friday, and I thought you meant the following Friday, and it was there the next morning.
Yep.
How'd you do that?
I was like, because luckily I've had a lot of people who have been watching from the UK for a long time now. So one time when I did the giveaways just on the general channel, someone from the UK won, and so I created a UK Amazon account.
Oh.
And so I just went in, paid the regular shipping fee, and it said Friday. I'm like, oh, that's actually really quick. But yeah.
You're so smart, Odin.
I know. I try my best. I'm trying to find my list. There it is. Where it is, let's see. Send list to others. View only. Copy link. I feel like Gary right now. Oh, yes, I need to copy the link. I need to copy the link. There it is.
Do not give them the option of editing.
Yes, that's why I was like, view. I was like, view only. Okay. Oh, Lord, if this crew got to edit that list, I can only imagine the things that would pop up.
They'd have Fritz the cat in there.
They'd have a lot of other things, I imagine.
Yeah.
Especially this Will Gentry, that's for sure.
I don't have any space here. If you saw my setup, you'd cry. But I'd love to give physical media to people who want it.
Yeah.
So make your list.
Yeah,
but send you stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of which, I have all these. So a lot of these films were films that were sent that I had either duplicates of or were upgrades for something. So all of these are going to be films I'll be giving away at some point. So got tons of stuff. Yeah, I got Speed, The Phantom, 1917 Sonic, Rambo Last Blood, Midway, Bad Times at the El Royale, Bells of St. Mary's, Going My Way, Top Gun, Mallrats, and Total Recall. The original, of course.
Did you say you had The Phantom? Is that the one with Billy Zane?
Oh. Of course, it's the one with Billy Zane. What other Phantom would I have?
I love that movie.
Tina's claiming dibs.
Yes, dibs on The Phantom. I went to the movie.
She just likes Billy Zane in the spandex. We all know.
Billy Zane in spandex was hot.
I liked it because when we were younger, they had like these giveaways at the theater, and it was the skull ring that he wore, and it was so awesome. Oh, Will Gentry. Yep, that's exactly what I thought. That's exactly where my mind went. I was like, this is exactly what they would put on that list if they were allowed to edit it. So
Science.
It's for science, I swear.
And I'd be going, oh, Odin's into Pornhub now? Who knew?
It's like, wait a minute, this doesn't make any sense. That's not how this works. Lord. And yes, Geek Truth, it was an upgrade to the Mallrats Arrow video release. That was the regular Blu-ray release. So.
Oh, Mallrats! It's a schooner.
It's a schooner. You dumb B word.
You dumb B word. I'm gonna get a sack lunch. I'm gonna stay here until I see it.
Oh no, the best line that he has, and if you have kids, cover their ears. You know what? There is no Easter Bunny.
Is that the same one with the sack full of quarters?
Yes.
That movie's so funny.
Oh, it's so good. Anyway, Andrew Hoyle, thank you for being here, man.
Sorry.
Appreciate it.
Tangent, sorry.
Oh no, perfectly fine. That's what we do here. We live for the tangents.
Apparently.
Absolutely. Mr. Roy, what's going on? What you been watching?
Look, I renewed my HBO subscription.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a mistake. I watched a movie called Underwater. It's okay-ish.
Was that the one with Kristen Stewart?
Sparkles.
Yeah, it was a 2020 film that was made 3 years prior that they sat on, and then they released it. It bombed.
Oh yeah, I only know of that movie because that was back when there was a box office to break down. That was one of the movies. Yeah, let's see, because it's up here. Where did it go? Trying to find it on here. Underwater. Where did it go?
Yeah, it was literally the last film that was made by 20th Century Fox before they switched the name.
That's so upsetting.
Yeah. It's actually not a bad movie. The plot, I mean, the whole story generally makes sense and stuff. I'll say CGI is pretty bad in it. Yeah, I mean, it's an okay movie. I don't know if I'll recommend it or not.
It only lost $73 million, so it's
Yeah.
Does that mean Disney? Does Disney lose that? Good.
Tina's just like, good, yes,
excellent.
Yeah, because who's been shouting that film out recently? Because it's someone in our community.
Believe it or not, it's EFAB.
Yeah, that's right.
Mr. H, I think, enjoyed it too.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not a bad film on an objective level. I mean, the story makes sense. There's not really too many plot holes and stuff. It's just, when I watched it, it just felt like a generic horror film with bad CGI. It's not something I'll watch again. But I mean, it's not something I could say that's bad, and I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, if y'all got a HBO Max subscription, give it a watch.
Yeah, it's one where I've been like, I kind of just want to. This is before I found out EFAP even liked it. I was like, oh, I kind of want to see it just to see how bad it was, because it bombed so much. Like, so I just assumed that it had to be bad. But then as soon as I felt like, if EFAP of all people, if Mahler of all people is gonna like speak highly of it, there has to be something going on there. So for the film we're talking about is Underwater. With Kristen Stewart from 2020. So yeah, when I found that out, I was like, okay, maybe I need to watch this after all.
Yeah, it probably bombed. It was released in January with no marketing, so that's probably why it bombed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I didn't even hear about this movie until people said it bombed. So it's like,
isn't it funny? It's like you either hear about a film because it's good or because it's bad. It makes no money.
Yeah.
Very cool. So Underwater. So you said it was okay. What would you give like a grade?
Probably a 6 or a 7 out of 10. I mean, it's
okay.
It's average to me.
Okay. Okay. Anything else?
I watched Jojo Rabbit.
Oh, I
What
want
did
to
you
see
think?
that so bad.
I have mixed feelings about it. I went into the movies. This is. I was told this was a comedy, but I don't think it's an actual comedy. It's a drama.
It's got some dark stuff in it, man.
Yeah.
There's no actual jokes or actual comedy in the movie. It's just goofy acting.
Yeah.
Yeah, just surrounded by an actual drama that's actually not bad. I mean,
Yeah, and also, I mean, I guess they just assume Taika Waititi dressed as Hitler is gonna be making people roll over. And it's like it's not as funny as you would think it would be, but
there's no jokes. It's just him just being goofy. It's nothing really. Yeah, there's no jokes or anything to laugh at. It's a really odd way to make a comedy.
Yeah, it really is. It's one of those movies where I just didn't know what to think of it. Like I feel like kind of like you as well, where it was like, okay, it's supposed to be a comedy, but I'm not really laughing all that much, but it's not really bad necessarily.
The actual story is interesting.
Yeah,
you grasp throughout pretty much most of the film.
Yeah,
it's kind of hard to take it seriously with all this goofy acting and explosions.
It's a weird mix of genres, I think is the best way to describe it, right? It's a drama that is promoted as a comedy. And there's these elements that are like, it's like if you took certain elements and certain tropes from a comedy, but then you put it into a drama with serious subject matter. And it's like, that doesn't work. And like, it doesn't sound like it would work. And guess what? It doesn't work. But I mean, it's not really bad necessarily.
Yeah, money-wise, it worked. I mean,
it
was a film that would cost like $14 million to make, and it made over $90 million. I mean, it worked in that aspect. But I don't know if I want to watch this again. It's
like it worked, but I also don't think I would ever want to watch it again. Yeah, I mean,
I'll recommend it. I mean,
okay.
Yeah, if you get a chance to watch it. I mean,
yeah, I mean, what was that?
It's interesting.
Yeah, it's one of those films where I didn't hate it, but I also thought it was vastly overrated. Like, it was one of those things where people were just, going crazy about it, saying, oh, it's so great, it's so clever, it's so witty. And I watched it, I'm like, it's not bad. It's not really that good necessarily. It was a weird, as you said, it was a very weird movie.
Yeah, calling it a comedy is a stretch to me.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Big time. Absolutely. Were you able to see anything else?
I saw Man of Steel.
Yes. Okay. Here.
Let's do it.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. So if you are a Zack Snyder fan, trigger warning. So Mr. Roy, start with you. What are your thoughts on Man of Steel?
It's torture.
I've never even seen it.
I hadn't either.
So why is it torture? What about it made it torturous?
God, this is so depressing to watch. Everything's dark and this weird color shade throughout the whole movie, and Superman's dad's an ass, and
but you're still supposed to feel bad when he dies. It's like
he let poor Kevin just fly off into nothingness or whatever.
He's saying, hey, maybe you should let your classmates drown in a bus.
That's right.
I saw that scene.
He might as well have said that. That's a fact.
He did say it.
It's been so long since I've seen it, man. So like, oh man.
I don't even know where to start in some of this stuff. Like the Kryptons are on a planet that they're apparently mining the core out of, and they can do space exploration. Yet they stay on the planet when it explodes, and you're like, just leave the planet. I mean, what the hell? This movie's stupid.
That's one way of putting it, I would say. This movie is stupid. I do want to go back to what Tina had said, because basically, yeah, it's like poor Kevin just gets, sucked up into the cyclone, and he could have totally saved him. But it's all fine.
I see. I prefer the Glenn Ford version of Pa Kent in Christopher Reeve's
Speaking
Superman.
of that, he has no problems being shirtless, saving a bunch of people on an oil rig, but he won't save his dad. Come on.
It's a fair point.
I wonder if the breakdown between the people who like Snyder and don't like Snyder is like people who saw the old Superman. I mean, I know Odin didn't care for it, but it's like, can you imagine seeing that version of Superman and then seeing Snyder Superman? You would be like, what is this?
Yeah, and that is a YouTuber. I'll bring up his channel later. He does projects that never came to fruition. There was a Superman that was being kicked around by Warner Brothers. It was after Tim Burton's Nicolas Cage project fell through. It was like every young actor in Hollywood was hoping to play Superman. And one of the scripts that got punted around was written by J.J. Abrams. And that's what got leaked onto the internet. And I think that's the copy that Gary and Tom on Midnight's Edge said they saw, and they said it's terrible. Where Superman's father, his real father, is actually the villain of the story. And Krypton doesn't explode and all this BS, which people said that just goes to prove JJ doesn't know anything about Superman.
Wow. What?
And that's probably the script he's going to make his Superman movie from when he finally makes it. Because they keep saying, yeah, JJ's going to make a Superman film. It's like, yeah, it's going to be that same script.
Oh, Lord.
And it's going to be Jor-El's going to be the villain of the story, and Lara's going to be the hero, and Krypton's not going to explode, and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, no, I love Glenn Ford's performance, and I know he was like towards the end of his career, but the things that he would say to Clark in that version, where, you know, you have these powers and you want to help people. And from what I heard about Kevin Costner's performance, it was like, it just, let that busload of kids drown. You can't reveal your powers. It's like, what? What? Kevin, go back to riding your horses with the wolves or whatever the heck you did in that stupid movie. I hate that stupid movie.
You don't like Dances with Wolves?
No! I hate that movie.
Are we adding Kevin Costner to the list?
No.
Okay.
I hate Dances with Wolves.
She loves him in Waterworld.
Never. I sneaked into Waterworld.
Is it me, or is it just Kevin Costner's just Kevin Costner in every film he's ever in?
He really is.
Mr. Roy, my brother calls Kevin Costner the most average of white men.
Okay,
he basically is, though.
I must say, Kevin Costner in Bull Durham, you buy him as a baseball player. He embraces the whole...
Yes.
I'm the player to be named later. Thank you.
Yes. I loved him in Bull Durham. Loved him in JFK. That is one of my all-time favorite movies.
Right. Yes.
And Kevin Costner pretty much, I know a lot of people don't remember this, he pretty much got blackballed in Hollywood after he made JFK. Because the movie didn't fit into the perception of what the JFK assassination is.
Okay.
So that's kind of...
Did he go into conspiracy by chance? I never seen it.
JFK? Yeah. Oliver Stone, unfortunately, kind of threw everything but the kitchen sink into it. But he did hone into a lot of the major things that people had brought up questions about as far as, you know, the assassination. It was Oswald or Patsy and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. And the character that Costner was playing was a real character. He was the only person to ever bring an indictment against someone who was possibly involved. So, but yeah, I mean, I read all of those books. I even met the one lady who was on the grassy knoll at the time that it happened.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, they took her video, or took her film camera. Somebody did, and was like, no, you only heard 3 shots. You didn't hear multiple shots. So, I'm sorry, Mr. Roy. Yes. Rosie brought up the Untouchables. I love the Untouchables. Oh my God.
No, intelligent tangents are always welcome.
Yes.
If you go off in a tangent and I'm learning things and I'm like, oh, that's fascinating. It's like, cool, man.
I start going down rabbit holes.
No, you go.
Andrew, were you going to jump in for a second?
No, it was just when you said Untouchables, like, oh, I want that for my list.
Okay.
Yes.
Untouchables. I'm writing it down right now.
Forgotten about
that is so good. And
I think Rosie sent me that one, if I'm not mistaken.
You have to see it. And of course, the critics were complaining about, oh, he stole that staircase scene from Battleship Potemkin. It was like, yes, but it was so well done. At least you looked at it and said, yes, that's Battleship Potemkin Odessa step scene. Not one of these rip-offs where you're trying to pretend like, oh, I wasn't inspired by anything. No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Still from the best, as they say. Still
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
Yeah, and Sean Connery won his only Oscar for The Untouchables.
Interesting.
Oh, that's the send them to the morgue. You send one to the hospital, send one to yours to the morgue.
Yes. That's the famous Robert De Niro playing Al Capone with the baseball bat scene.
Puppy.
Yes, even your dog loved their dog's like, yes, that's a great scene.
Dog's like, I'm excited about this scene. Yes.
This is my life. This is my life.
See, what I do is I just talk to him. Like when that happens during videos, I'm just like, yeah, you're right, River. You tell him.
You tell him, honey.
So Man
like
of
I
Steel.
Get her a squirrel. And just...
Meanwhile, back to Man of Steel.
Sorry.
Yeah, Man of Steel, eh? So not a fan, Mr. Roy, of the Man of Steel.
Basically, in a nutshell, for people that generally don't like the movie, it's basically a movie where it's a bunch of scenes, and throughout the film, every time you go to a scene, you're like, okay, where's the other stuff at? This doesn't feel right. And then there's a scene that comes up that explains something, and then you start turning your brain on. You're like, okay, that don't make sense. And then it just continues, and your brain's still trying to figure out what the hell. And then the movie ends. You're like, that didn't make any damn sense. That's pretty much the whole damn movie.
Yeah, I remember that when Brightburn came out, my immediate thought was, man, Brightburn's so much better than Man of Steel. That's a Superman origin story.
I couldn't even finish Brightburn. It was making me so mad. I was like, I'm gonna have a freaking aneurysm before this is over. I'm done.
Yeah, not to mention the cinematography in this movie is terrible.
Yeah.
It's hand cam, shaky cam all over the place. It's got this weird zoom stuff where he zooms in on certain shots.
Yeah.
It's headache.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, headache-inducing, I think, is a perfect way to describe the cinematography of this movie. But also the color palette, too. You're just like, Superman is typically seen as more of like a colorful world. And obviously, many people think that, Nolan may have had an impact on it because he was one of the producers on the project. And it was trying to go for that like more dark, gritty, realistic take like the Dark Knight franchise did. It just didn't, it's just one of those things where it works for a Batman movie where the guy is a rich guy who is able to afford all this technology and everything. So you can make that work. But when you have an alien who has powers, right, that's superhuman, then it's almost unbeatable in many ways. It's like, no, you can't really take that realistic approach with the film.
Yeah, I don't think Kryptonite was in this film at all.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good point. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that either.
Did they do anything with the scene that I remember most from Superman is where he finds the crystal that they sent with him, and he puts it in his.
The only weakness I remember the film is when they step on his ship and he breathes in their atmosphere and he gets sick.
That's right.
That's
it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's really sad
that was
too.
Beautiful.
When
they bring the crystal in and he puts it in and he like learns about who he was, and then that's when he really turns into Superman in the old movies. Sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah.
Yeah, this movie is just, I don't know, he's raised on Earth all his life, and then all of a sudden he's like, yeah, I want to be an alien, I guess. I mean, he feels he relates more to the aliens than the family that's raised him all his life, and it's a strange movie.
Well,
I hate it.
I will actually defend that point because there's extended family that I have who were adopted, and it tends to happen that in many cases, especially when there is like a major difference between like cultures and stuff like that, where they tend to go through an identity crisis. And it's something it sometimes can get really bad, and it can come to the point where they would actually associate more so with people that they've never met or had any time with, because it's this connection they feel with them that they've always felt like they didn't have with their the people that have raised them. So that actually is, I think, based in reality with people who've experienced. Yeah,
Kevin Costner told him, maybe you should drown your classmates.
Because like I can understand certain parts of it, but then it's like, yeah, because the big thing that always gets me is that Michael Shannon, who is such a great actor, I love him in this movie as Zod, and they just waste him. It's like, really? You're going to give him one movie, and you're not even going to let him shine? Just ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know. The harder I think about this movie, more head hurts.
Oh, Kevin Costner. Lord Almighty. Anything else you've seen, Mr. Roy?
I saw Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Oh no!
What? You just went on a spree.
A Snyder spree.
We had a Texas blizzard, so I had plenty of time.
Oh, that's
okay.
right. That's right. So you decided,
"Guys,
I'm going
it
to
was
torture
snowing
myself
in."
with some more Zack
Yes.
Snyder.
Yes.
Oh no!
I don't think this movie as bad, but man, it's close.
Oh, see, I prefer Man of Steel, hands down,
Dude.
to BVS. Oh yeah.
There's
Martha.
nothing in Man of Steel I enjoy. I slightly enjoyed the Batman. The Batman Superman fight's okay-ish until the Martha part.
Well, because things are getting so epic, and then all of a sudden it's Martha. Why'd you say that name?
What's the name? What's the trigger?
Martha.
What's the trigger?
Man, BVS. Now, did you watch the extended version or the theatrical version?
To be honest with you, I've seen the theatrical years ago.
Okay.
Probably when I was in theaters, I saw the extended.
Okay, well then, well, according to people that are fans, then you should have seen the definitive version, and all of those issues should have been fixed. Because the Ultimate Edition is gospel.
That's what?
That's what they say. They're like, oh, have you seen the theatrical or have you seen the extended edition? Because if you haven't seen the extended edition, then you haven't really seen the movie.
Because Snyder solves everything.
Yes.
I've seen both versions. They're both terrible. I'm sorry. They're both really bad.
Those extra 30 minutes make a difference. Damn it.
30 minutes of what?
That's my question. I've actually never seen the Ultimate Edition because people keep telling me you have to watch. And I'm like, why would I want to watch a film that has even more stuff that I don't like? I don't know.
Yeah, my brother didn't like the theatrical. He's got both of them. And he said he didn't like the theatrical. He preferred the directors, and he's very snooty in particular as to what he likes. So I didn't go any further because I haven't seen either one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not worth your time.
Yeah. Will Gentry, I think, has worded it best. I've seen some people mention it. He says the long version doesn't fix anything. It does fill in a number of the storyline-based plot holes that got edited into it. So, yeah, so basically it's like certain stories make more sense, but it's not fixed. So it's like, yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, it's the same thing I said earlier. This film does the same thing. It's just a bunch of non-connecting scenes, and then every once in a while you'll get exposition explaining something.
Yeah.
And then once you turn your brain on and start thinking about it, it makes your head hurt.
Yeah, totally. I hear that, and that's one of the things what I'm very skeptical of when it comes to the Snyder Cut, because it's just like everyone's like, but it's gonna be 4 hours and it's gonna be all Zack Snyder. I'm like, that's not a good thing if you look to his history of work, especially in this universe. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Yeah.
Well, I know that I'm sorry.
Speaking of that, I did watch Justice League.
Oh my goodness, you are.
Well, that's none of him.
I don't know why you would want to put yourself through this torture when you're already going through all the snow and ice torture. It's like, why would you do that to yourself?
If you were to ask, I don't know. I've already forgotten about this movie.
It's just a very it's a very masochistic move. Is the point? Is
we're all like torturing ourselves to Snyder, trying to figure out Snyder. It's like, if we watch more Snyder, I'll figure out Snyder. Nope.
I don't want to watch this stuff again.
You're so smart.
No, I'm dumb. I watched this stuff in the first place.
There's so many other things you could have watched.
Yeah.
Seven Samurai, the Samurai Trilogy.
Gone with the Wind.
Gone with the Wind. Battleship Potemkin. Sunrise.
You could have watched this amazing film, which is the live-action Mulan.
Master Commander.
Live-action Mulan. Oh. I really don't want to pay for
I wish the K-Man... Shout out to the K-Man. The K-Man did. The K-Man. He's working today. He wanted to be with us, but he sent me a bunch of films, and one of them included this, and it was like, really? Really? You sent me this one of all the things?
I've seen so many reviews that have torn that piece of garbage to pieces.
Yeah. My mindset is that I now have, for all time, the fact that Disney shouted out a paramilitary group that was responsible for the Uyghur Muslim genocide. So, hey, I'm holding on to it for history. Yes, for posterity.
We want to thank.
Hey, thanks for keeping those dissidents silent. We're filming our movie.
Seriously, right?
We want to
barely hear their wails of pain and suffering.
We want to thank the SS for letting us film near Dachau, Auschwitz, and all those other fun places.
Seriously, it's the same exact thing. It's essentially the same thing that they did with China. God, it's.
But according to Biden, it's their culture. So
it's a cultural difference, man. Come on, man.
Oh, of course.
What are you gonna do?
Come on, man.
They're silly Chinese.
Come on, man. She gets it. She gets it, okay? Come on, man. She gets it, okay?
Come on, man.
Come on, man. Like, I feel like it's gonna come out tomorrow and be like, by the way, I watched a great film last night. It's live action Mulan. It's gonna be like, oh, really? Tell us more. Tell us more, Uncle Joe. Please. Oh, man. Alex McCarthy says BVS Ultimate is my 4th favorite movie of all time. And this is why Alex McCarthy...
Alex, shut up!
This is why if you don't like a movie, it has to be bad.
Love you, Alex.
Yes, I love you. Thank you very much.
So, Mr. Roy, you said that you basically already forgotten about Justice League.
Yeah, I mean, I know the basic is Batman goes and finds other heroes. They resurrect Superman, and then they fight some CGI horn dude, I guess. I don't know. You remember the
Steppenwolf.
What?
I don't remember the name.
What'd you call it? Steppenwolf.
Steppenwolf.
Yeah,
Steppenwolf. Yeah. I guess.
Which I never believed to be a character name because I grew up, because maybe Pat S can confirm this, but in New Orleans, I believe there's like a bar or like a venue, or there's a band called Steppenwolf.
There's a band called
There's a band. Okay. Yeah. And so like every time I heard Steppenwolf, I'm like, the band? And it's like, no, he's the villain. I'm like, what? No, he's a band. What are you talking about? Villain in Justice League. Oh man, and that CGI, yes, JKD Bug, the CGI mustache, the thing of nightmares is that, oh my god, the face.
I'm gonna blame Tom Cruise for that crap.
Sure.
Little
I
Tommy.
feel like you'll blame Tom Cruise for everything, Tina. Come on.
Little Tommy. No, Tommy had in Henry's contract or something that he couldn't shave the mustache. It's like he couldn't grow a mustache back for your stupid Mission Impossible movie. So he's got to keep the mustache, and then Warner Brothers and their laziness sloppily CGI's it out. So yeah, I'm gonna blame Tommy for that, along with me blaming him and Alex Kurtzman for that stupid Mummy movie. I'm done.
Also, yeah, Bryant Barth, I've seen your question multiple times now, and the answer is neither, because neither, in my opinion, I think. Because I already seen the first one, and it's not good, and I don't have high hopes for the second one. So, as far as that. And then, of course, Alex McCarthy's like, I'm watching it right now, by the way. And it's like, of course you are! I bet it's on repeat on his house. He's like, oh, yes. It's his comfort. It's his comfort movie. Disgusting. You disgust me, Alex. You disgust me. Oh, Lord. Anything else, Mr. Roy?
That's it.
Oh, man. It's like that. It was like, that's it. It's like, are you kidding me? I watched 3 different films in the Snyderverse.
Dang.
I thought that would at least be entertainingly bad. No.
No, it's push you to sleep like, really? Is this still... It's still on. Yeah, it's still on. It's still on. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, apparently, there's going to be a 4-hour version of Justice League.
Oh, are you ready? I'm ready.
No, thank you.
I'm ready.
I need somebody's HBO Max password.
So I got you, Tina. I got you.
For real?
For real?
Free TNT. I got all of you. If I want like free cell phones,
you get a movie. You get one. You get one.
Because seriously, I was checking the theaters around here, and I don't know if any of them are going to have Godzilla versus Kong. Because I wanted to see it over at Cinemax, and they said, "Oh, this location is temporarily closed," and I was like, "Oh crap! I have to see that movie."
No, me and you both. I'm seeing that movie in a theater. I don't care where.
Yes.
Oh, what, Godzilla vs. Kong?
Fight. I need to see it.
Yeah.
I mean, especially they showed it on the trailer, like King Kong, like shabap hitting a Godzilla like in the face with a punch. I was like, yes. I need to see that.
And I've learned me and Laura will talk about it later. I have learned so much about kaiju monsters in the last few weeks. I am so pumped up.
But you know all the backstory with like the turtle monster and the...
yeah, Ghidorah and all. Yeah, Gamera, and
a friend to all the children.
The friend to all children.
That's right. The song. Oh,
yeah.
Can you please sing me a song?
Three cheers to Gamera. Yeah.
Lord. Mr. Roy, thank you very much for sharing that torture that you put yourself through while things were going on. That's Godspeed, good sir, is all I have to say.
Godspeed.
Oh man. But yeah, because if Laura was gonna hook you up, I could totally do something similar to what I did with Mank for you, Tina, if it comes down to it. So.
Well, I just kind of want to see it for curiosity's sake. It's like if somebody told me we found the 9-hour version of Erich von Stroheim's Greed. I might not like it, but I'd still like to see it.
Just to say I saw it, right?
To say I saw it, but because Greed is already one of the greatest movies ever made. I don't know how it would be in a 9-hour version, but I sure wouldn't turn it down.
Yeah, for sure. All right, before jumping with Tina, let's go ahead and let's go to Laura first, because I know that everyone's gonna be wanting to hear what Tina has to say, as everyone wants to hear what everyone here has to say. But Tina, as we all know, it's a pretty epic thing that happens here. But Laura, what you been watching?
Oh, so I see, like, Tina's the anchor of the
I mean,
no,
I could go with Tina.
Runner at the end. No need to excuse. You put the strongest person at the end.
But you see, you're setting up, so it's like you're even more important, because if you don't have a good setup, then the ending can't possibly be good.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
That's how it works, though, right? All right, what you been watching?
I've watched so much in the last month. If you have HBO Max, check out Passengers.
Was it good?
I enjoyed it.
Okay.
I mean, it's fairly predictable, but I mean, you got Jennifer Lawrence and Christopher Pratt like romancing each other on screen in this gigantic spaceship that's hurling through space. I mean, it's kind of, a predictable space romance, but I enjoyed it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, are you a fan of the J-Law?
Oh yeah. I mean,
Okay.
the thing is, it's like I've seen a lot of interviews of her, and she just seems so like wacky. She's just
Does
so,
she?
like,
Does she now?
Yeah. She's like a normal person who's like stuck in Hollywood, just kind of like overwhelmed with it all. I guess she got invited to go to some famous person's. I mean, after she had been famous for quite a while, she got invited like Madonna's house or something, and like just like was like sick and the anxiety of having to go and have like dinner with Madonna. She's just like, I can't deal with this.
Yeah,
so
I remember when it was at the Oscars one year, I think.
Oh my god!
Yes, puppies. Yes, puppies. I remember she was at the Oscars or something. She was accepting an award or something, and then she like tripped falling up the stairs or something like that. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
She's like a normal person to me. I mean, I guess that's why I relate a lot with her. It's like she's very attractive. She's obviously very talented as far as an actress goes.
Yeah.
But there's just like, it's like with Gina, there's this normal person stuff there where it's like other people, it's like, I don't think you would sit in a room with me and have a conversation.
Yeah. I feel like I've always just had this thought with her where it just seems like it's an act. I mean, I might be the only one that's had that kind of perception, but like that's the reason why I've never been as big on her as I have with recently, like with Gina Carano, for being real, because every time I've seen her in interviews, I'm like, I don't know if this is real. It just doesn't seem real.
That's true.
Oh,
yeah.
Jennifer Lawrence?
Yeah.
J-Law.
At the start, like when she...
I'm almost like worried. It's like,
when she tripped,
or not?
when she tripped on the stairs, and I thought, oh, that seems so natural. She's so nervous. And then when she started coming out with Florida deserves hurricanes because they voted for Trump, I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
Never come back to Louisville, you whatever.
You shut your mouth.
Shut your mouth. You are not a good Southern girl. Shut up.
This is why I don't follow actors on Twitter. It's like, what?
Yeah. And to be honest, for me, Rosie G12 mentioned it. It was when it was her performance in the movie Mother. Not her performance. It was the movie Mother. And she happened to be in it. And I think I think that this happened just to leave this really bad vision of her because she was in that movie. And I was just like, no. Same thing with Harvey R. Bardem too. I'm just like, no, why were you in this? Gosh.
But I tend to be fans of people like Daniel Radcliffe, the guy who got caught up in the vampire movies.
Robert Pattinson?
Too much. I'm sorry.
Pattinson?
Robert Pattinson.
Sparkles? Captain Sparkles?
Sparkles.
Yeah.
I can't be in the sunshine because if I am, I sparkle.
I glitter.
Wait, you die? No, I sparkle.
It's like these people who I see, like, they could be potentially great actors.
Yeah.
But they get caught up in these like big events. It's like I think Daniel Radcliffe would have been an excellent and Tom Felton, the guy who played Malfoy.
Yeah.
It's like I would love to see what their careers would have been without these huge blockbusters.
But you know what? I will say I'm glad you mentioned those specifically because Radcliffe actually has had a pretty, I think, good post Harry Potter career. Most recently, he was in a really interesting film called Guns Akimbo, where he wakes up with guns surgically attached to his hands, and it's like really entertaining.
Just the premise for the movie,
you're like instantly like, yes, I want to see this movie. Oh, hello, I can see myself.
No, it's just this is the clippity clip that you keep hearing.
Oh, the little clippity clap.
Sadie. Sadie's tail's like wagging.
She's like, you're talking to me. But I'm not going to talk to you.
come in your room when you're trying to.
Oh, I'm assuming that must have some barking or something like that happened. But yeah, I love when the dogs just like come in with a clippity clap, clippity clap, clippity clap. It's always great. But yeah, no, Dan. Oh yeah, go ahead, Laura.
Sorry,
That's
I'm
okay.
dealing with like notifications popping up on my phone.
Oh Lord, yeah.
Dogs and
Yeah.
stuff. And,
yeah, Pat S says another one. A Swiss Army Man. He was also in, which is also a hilarious premise if you've never seen it before.
What?
Have you seen Swiss Army Man?
No.
Oh yeah, so basically a dead body washed up on a shore, and this guy who is like at the end of his rope, all of a sudden realizes that this body can be used for basically anything. So he ends up riding the dead body off of the island, and it turns into a jet ski. And so it's Daniel Radcliffe as the dead body, and so literally water's shooting out of his butt, and he's a jet ski. That's why he's called Swiss Army Man. Literally, he's a body that just turns into everything. Oh, it's pretty great. It's pretty great.
Lord. You think you've seen it all? And then...
Yeah, I'd say you think you've seen it all. Then you see Daniel Radcliffe with water coming out of his tush. It's just, yeah. And then Tom Felton actually has also had an interesting career because he was in Rise of the Planet of the Apes. He had a supporting role in that, and he did a pretty good job. He played a very good villainous role in that movie.
Yes, I did like him in that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then the show I was talking about earlier with Andrew, Origin, like the series Origin. He was great in that series too.
I remember hearing about that, and I was trying to like look for it, and it was gone. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I don't know where I don't know who's picked up the distribution rights to it because it was a YouTube Red, it was a YouTube Premium show, so I'm guessing it might still be there. But if someone's picked up the rights to it, then it could be. In fact, I still have that page open, so go on. I'll look up and see if I can find out where it is.
Cool.
Yeah.
So of course I watched Haywire.
Yeah.
We need to get a movement going. If you could. I know you know more people who have bigger channels to watch Haywire, because I was shocked how good it was. I mean, I figured I would turn it on, I'd have it in the background, kind of like my little, hey, I support Gina. It takes a lot to get me engrossed in the movie. I was fascinated. I was like, holy crap, this girl has so much potential. Because it takes a lot for an actor to be on screen and be doing like very little, but to engage you. I mean, there's very few actors who can do that, and she doesn't have even like any formal acting training. And I watched it, and I really enjoyed the fact that she beat up Ewan McGregor like quite thoroughly.
That's right.
Yeah. I was like, yes.
What I love most about that film is the fact that it is her obviously doing like all the fighting herself, but also what is unique about the movie is that they purposefully do not have any music playing underneath any of the fight scenes. And so all you hear is the actual sounds of the fight. And that just adds that level of realism to what's going on screen. And it's such a unique thing because typically when you see action sequences and action movies with fights, there's music underlying it. There's like all these other things going on, but all you get to see and hear is the fight. And it's really well done.
Yeah, I mean, I have a very weird attention span. It's like, you got to get me at the first moment.
Yeah.
And if it goes too long and you're not keeping my attention, I'm out. You know? It's like, there are classic movies where I've left like halfway through.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I'm great that you enjoyed this, but like, an hour in, I was like ready to fall asleep. And for someone who that was her first movie, she has no acting experience, and for her to engage me at that level, where she physically like scared me at some points. Well, I was like, there were some points where she like snuck up on somebody she was about to give a whoop ass to, and I was like, holy crap, I feel sorry for that person, because her physicality was she was smaller than sometimes some of the people that she was going after, but you could feel it. It's like she has some kind of energy inside her where it's like she's either going to kill you or she's going to die. And it's hard to explain that type of I figured when I first like started to learn about her, I figured that she was from some kind of like disadvantaged background, that she was, somebody had to fight her way through life. And it turns out actually she's from quite a well-off family. So that fire that's inside her, that drive, it's just 100% who she is. But I would suggest anybody, if you're a Gina Carano fan, if you want to support her, is check out that movie. It's on Amazon Prime. It's free. I'm sure it would help her, her career a lot if you went and checked it out.
Yeah, and as you all know, I'll always, promote the physical media. And I think that the movie is not too much on Blu-ray right now. I'm sure that it's going to be becoming a lot more scarce as people, I think, kind of will just fly over to support her. But yeah, you can get the Blu-ray for about $11 or $12 right now, and I think it's well worth it. As people have been mentioning in the chat, it's a Steven Soderbergh movie, and Soderbergh is just a very talented director. He's done films like he did Unsane, which is a film he shot completely with an iPhone. He did the Ocean's 11 remake with George Clooney in them. So he's always been a very a talented filmmaker, very competent, and so it was really cool to see him work with her with that movie. And yeah, Haywire's fantastic. I can highly recommend it for sure, especially if you like fighting movies and you want to support her too. And speaking of that, the interview with her with Ben Shapiro just came out today. So that's another way to support her, is to watch that interview, because you just really find out how much of a sweetheart she is. Did you get a chance to watch that, Laura?
Oh yeah, I'm a Daily Weiler.
Daily Weiler?
Daily Weiler. Yeah. Oh Lord. Cab is delicious, by the way. Yeah, I'm a Daily Wire because I believe in putting my money behind Geeks and Gamers, and believe me, there's months where I'd really like to have that $10 back.
I can hear that. Yeah, I can hear that.
It's like I believe in putting my money behind the people who I feel are kind of speaking out against the popular culture right now. And yeah, it's one thing to listen to that interview, but when you see her,
yeah, I
mean, it hurts me how much that this has hurt her. And it's like, she really didn't, it's like, if I felt that she had done something wrong, it would be different. But it's like, well, come on in.
Is that the dog?
Lay down.
All I could hear was that click, clack, click, clack, click, click, click.
If I felt that she had done something wrong, something horrible, I would never stand behind her. But it's like, that's the problem. It's like the minor offenses, the tiny little, what's that saying? It's like, find out who you can't joke about, and then you'll know who controls the culture.
Yeah.
It's like, if you can't make the slightest little joke about what she did.
Yeah. The beep bop boop,
okay.
You mean?
Yeah, the beep bop boop.
Yeah.
Right. And she pretty much put it out on Twitter. She's like, okay, so you came in here, now you're leaving. All right.
I love dogs. I love dogs. They're so, it's just like, I'm going to come on in. Okay, I'm going to head out now. I'm going to come on in now.
I just want to come in here and hang with you.
I don't know why I turned him into Yogi Bear. I'm going to come on in, get a picnic basket. Yeah.
She's a super old German Shepherd, so that's pretty much the voice that would do her. Hi, baby. Come here.
Okay, I'm going to come back in now.
My daughter used to live here and would hang out with her and walk her every day, and she left.
Now she's lonely.
She's kind of in the state of mourning right
now.
Yeah, right. Woo!
We're having fun now, man. Oh Lord, but yeah, I do think that's true though. Is that you get to see this interview with her, and you just get when you actually get to watch the video. Because for those wondering, it is now available publicly on I think it's Ben Shapiro's YouTube channel or Daily Wire's YouTube channel, and you just get to see I just actually listened to it. I just was listening to the podcast version on Saturday, and I just could hear the emotion. But yeah, there was a couple of moments when I turned the video on too, just to see, because I could just hear the pain that I could just tell was there. And it's one of those things where not only is she just a very real person, but also she's someone that was even more real because she was hurt, right? Like, I feel like there's a lot of people who are celebrity status, right, Hollywood types, who, if something like this happened to them, they might get hurt, but then you would see that they were kind of like feigning, any type of pain. Like, you could tell it would not be like serious or authentic. You feel everything that she says. Like, you feel that she is like a regular person who got pulled into this industry and was having a lot of fun with it and just got burned completely within the matter of a few years. And I think that it's really sad to see someone who, as you even said, didn't do anything wrong, right? It's one of those things where she didn't even get burned because she came out as a Republican or conservative. She got burned because she was in the middle. And I think that it's just really sad to see that happen.
Well, I think the thing is like a lot of people will sympathize more with her, with someone that's like, I'm not political. I really haven't paid attention to what's going on out there.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's like the casual missteps that you can make that can ruin your career. And I've heard a lot of other YouTubers, especially like Amazing Lucas, who I used to listen to quite a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, he's like, she deserved what she got. And it's like, dude, do you not understand? It's like more people will sympathize, especially in Hollywood.
Yeah.
With her. It's like, I'm not really politically aware. These people are all coming at me. They seem crazy.
Yeah.
Because they are crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, this is like what I believe. I'm sorry if you don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you're not allowed to do that anymore. You're not allowed to say like, I don't like 100% agree with what you're doing. You have to 100% agree or you're out.
Yeah. Mr. Roy, were you saying something?
Yeah, there was something interesting about the interview where she was bringing up when she was starting to make these so-called mistakes, and they were bringing in these what do you call them? Publisher. What do you call them?
Publicist.
Publicist to basically coach her into what to say to the public, and they had these long-winded little list of things to apologize for. She's like, I can't say these things. They're going to, Twitter's going to see right through this. This ain't me. It's very interesting to see how Disney reacts to these kind of situations with people, with actors.
The one that got me the most was the one when she was told, yeah, we have you signed up. You're going to talk to these 40 activists. And I was like, that's insane. One person talking to 40 people. Like, again, just us having this discussion where all of us are respectful of each other, giving each other time, right? Taking turns. That's one thing. But imagine it's one person against 40 people at the same time via like Zoom call. And her response was beautiful, though. She said, hey, how about instead I take 4 or 5 of them out to dinner and actually get to talk to them in person and actually have conversation. And it's like, at that point, it's like, I know that she's being real and authentic. Because instead of it being it was so terrible, they treated me so terribly, and like, this is so ridiculous, right? 40 people, that's so ridiculous, and not, offering any alternatives to it, like just basically just saying I have no responsibility at all to talk to anyone. She's like, no, I wanted to talk to people. I wanted to hear the other side out. Like, the fact that she said that, and I keep going back to it, I did the video about it earlier, where I'm like, the fact that she calls people like Pedro Pascal a beautiful soul. Like, it's like, that's the moment you realize that this person is not your typical Hollywood type, right? Because the typical Hollywood type would never say that about someone who's viewed as like an opposite viewpoint, right? And so it's like that point, you're like, if you're not on Team Gina, I don't know where you are. I don't understand where you're coming from.
Well, I know Carl Weathers put out a tweet, and it was like Gina and the Mandalorian guy, like right next to each other, like, either reviewing tape or they were doing something together. And I think his message was just like, we don't have to like all agree politically to like work together. And I had kind of a harsh response to him. I was like, if you got fired because of your political views, do you think Gina would still be working on The Mandalorian? And it's like, I wish that, she said that people have been sending her scripts and people have been reaching out to her and said, I want to work in this industry, but I'm afraid of being canceled.
Yeah. And also like, the powerful thing too about, that same vein was she said, I could give you a story right now that would turn the entire narrative around, but I can't because I'm not going to give up a friend. And it's like, that's powerful because we all know, and she mentioned this in the interview too, right? Where in fighting, even when you're fighting against people, you support them. Like, it's a very supportive culture in fight culture, apparently. And it's different in acting where she's like, but in acting and in this Hollywood environment, people will literally turn on you at a second's notice if it will improve their career. And so the fact that she's not willing to play that game is also something worth noting.
Well, that's what I've heard a lot from people like Robert Michael Burnett. He and other people. They said a lot. It's like, it's just a cutthroat world in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And anything they can find to use against you. Somebody involved with the Daily Wire, he was kind of like a PA in Hollywood when he founded the Daily Wire. But he would talk about that they would have
Jeremy Boring.
Yes, thank you. You're like my hard drive.
Well, because the interview and like all the stuff going on right now is still fresh in my head, and he's someone that was a part of the like the Hollywood culture at one point.
Yeah, I guess he had some kind of like Bush sticker on his truck, and people were like, "Wow, you're really brave for for driving around Hollywood."
So stunning, so brave.
On your car. But he was like, "Well, I just made friends because I had a truck, and I agreed to like move everybody's furniture, and I made friends that way." But it's weird that like conservatives in Hollywood had to have like secret meetings and stuff.
Yeah, seriously. And I always love I love and I hate it when you hear these people tell their stories and they're like, Gina was saying, I have people coming up to me like at a beach party and they're like, "Hey, by the way, I support what you're doing." And it's like, you're whispering at your own house. Like, and like when she said that, I was like, it's so true though. Like I could totally see, and I've heard these stories told where people are afraid even in their own house if there's other people around who they can't trust. It's like, oh, that's scary.
That's the part of the interview that really made me sad. Yeah. And she was like, "Why are you whispering? You're in your own house." Mm-hmm. And it's like, I can't imagine.
Yep. Yeah, neither can I. Absolutely.
But I mean, I don't know. I mean, like I've said, it's like I can't imagine being in an industry where you had to hide. Mm-hmm. I mean, because I've been out since I was 16. I mean, and a lot of people don't understand like what Star Wars means to me. It's like when I was a teenager, I was harassed to the point where I was considering being like violent, but I was kind of considering it. And I mean, I don't really believe in like God or anything, but I feel like I was given a sign because I went into Return of the Jedi and I was like thinking, you know what? Yeah, I know where I can get my hands on a shotgun. And all these people like who've been harassing me since I was a teenager, I could like take them out. Yeah. And I went into Return of the Jedi and it's like I saw the evil that
I'm guessing it's the dog again. I think she's been having some notifications on her phone pop up too. But yeah, I mean, it's just it's one of those things where it shows you the power also of film. It shows you the power of film, the power of fandom, right? Because there's been so many people in the Phantom Menace community, right, where people have had some dark moments, and the community here has just been able to pull people out of it. Has been able to give them a support network and things like that. I know there's people who've been a part of the Asgardian community for years now, who this is one of the best ways for them to reach out to people. This is one of the best ways for them to communicate. Friendships have been forged, right? One of the greatest friendships of all time in the history of Asgard is Mr. Peabody and Adam Shawhan. Like those two, opposite parts of the world, are some of the best of friends. And Adam was going to visit Peabody last year, and of course it got canceled because of COVID. But again, the fact that it led to a friendship where someone was going to travel all across the world essentially, for that. I mean, again, it's just an amazing thing what happens. But anyway, I see that you're unmuted. So, Laura, you said you're talking about Return of the Jedi. Hello? Laura? Okay, I'll keep talking then, because
Wow.
I love the sound of my own voice. What can I say? But no, I think it's the power of fandom though that can really bring these things in. So, we'll try one more time. Laura, you still there? Maybe might need to restart or tech issue. I see the camera on.
Hello, I'm back. Sorry.
Okay, there you go. All right. I was like, oh gosh, I have to vamp, and I've got nothing ready. Oh no, no. All right. She'll be back. She'll be back. Super though was talking about the Gina Carano thing, which was relevant to what we were just talking about, saying my favorite part was, quote, "Don't try to ruin my life with lies when your life can be ruined with truth." And that was a very powerful line from that interview. Laura, you're back.
I'm sorry.
That's
It's
okay.
like
That's okay.
so I put in this like DoorDash order with like, all these like modifications and stuff.
Yeah.
And of course the order comes in. It's like, how do you get my ranch dressing? It's like, I really don't want to deal with it.
Hey, here's a fun fact about ranch dressing, though. Every time I put a request in for ranch dressing, 9 out of 10 times, I don't get it. It's usually
Well, I'm sure if you love ranch dressing so much, surely you have some at home.
I do, but there's there's a difference, right? There's a difference between the store-bought stuff and what they have at these restaurants. It's like it's creamier, it just tastes better. I don't know what it is.
Let's see. I'm trying to look at my list. Oh, I
Yeah.
did watch. I watched Dunkirk, and I heard Tina didn't care for Dunkirk. So
I never saw Dunkirk.
Oh,
I only saw it. I saw it in bits and pieces on my cruise 2 years ago. So it's hard to judge when you see a bit here, a bit there.
No, you didn't
bit
miss
over
much.
there.
oh,
Laura, you liked it?
I love war movies, and
Okay.
I know you didn't care for Midway,
Yeah.
the newer version, but I feel like any movie that's done and it's like a war movie, and these guys have, suffered what they did. It's like I give them a little leeway that the CGI was kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
It's like maybe the acting was kind of hokey.
Yeah.
But
My biggest criticism was the acting. Was not the acting, it was
Yes.
the characters. There was no, like, I can't remember a single character from that movie.
Right. It was
Yeah.
more about the event. It's like you have the entire English army that's stuck on the shore of France, and they can literally look across the water and they can see the cliffs of their home country. And I do like the actors that Nolan chooses to pick.
Mhm.
I mean, Kenneth Branagh, of course, is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Love him.
Yeah.
Oh, I know you do.
It's like I like the worlds that he creates. It's
Mhm.
like it's just the for me it's like the tension that he builds up throughout that whole movie, and then it kind of ends with like just everyday sailors and everyday people who have like a yacht that'll fit like 10 people
Mhm.
decide to sail across the channel and pick up these poor soldiers who are I mean, they're standing in a line on the beach. I was just like,
Yeah.
how more British can you get than that? It's like
Queuing
like-
They're
up.
queuing on the beach.
they're queuing on the beach. It's like the Germans are like strafing us as they fly down the beach, and their bombs, being dropped on us. But a queue up, yes, very proper, yes.
Andrew, you have anything to add to that?
Well, they didn't break out the teas, or that was one thing.
A little Q, a little T,
I just don't think I don't think a lot of people in America understand like the culture of England. The
Mhm.
how deep and long it goes. It's like Chinese culture. It's
Yes.
it's a lot of people, it's like, I don't understand, this. It's like, well, you kind of need to invest in the history of that particular region to understand. I mean, that just really got to me. They showed this long shot of the beach, and there are all these people like in lines, like waiting to get picked up, and they're like, dead bodies floating up in the waves, and they just like, kind of casually push them to the side. It's like, oh my
god. Yeah, for me it was the characters not being there, because I like more character-driven story narratives. But I can, it's one of those things where I can understand why people would like it, though, especially people who are fans of war films because of like attention to detail, that kind of thing. But yeah, cool.
I hope that all that was historically accurate, because some of it, it's like with 1917. You're like, all of that just doesn't seem possible for one human to endure. Like,
yeah.
The one guy, he got in a boat, and then the boat got submarined, and he got out of that boat and got back to shore, got into another boat. It's like, it's kind of like Titanic, where at some point it's like, I understand you wanted to see like all the points of, but at some point it's like, you're stretching this to the point where I'm not believing that this character could have possibly have endured all of this.
Yeah. For sure.
And remember, Laura, I said when I was talking about Titanic, I think on The Last Chosen, and I said Cameron had to cut out so much that was historic, because the critics would have said, oh, no, there was no black woman on the Titanic, or no, the dogs weren't running along the deck at the end. So it was a lot of stuff he had to cut, because people would have been like, oh, he just made that up.
Interesting.
Just like there was one woman who was on all three of those sister ships on the Olympic and got transferred over the Titanic. And then she was on the Britannic as a nurse. So her luck didn't fare very well.
Well, that was the one thing I remembered being astounded about when I started studying like World War II, was how like very close it was. Like how many battles came down to like one person doing something, like Midway. It was one guy who was just a very prolific bomber who managed to take out, a number of ships. You think it's like this gigantic situation where there's like a number of people involved. And so much of World War II, it was just, you had one guy who happened to get lucky and drop his bomb where it was supposed to be.
Yeah, Pat S. had some issues with the film because of historical inaccuracies, and he says that his dad, who's a war veteran, said apparently the British World War II didn't act like that. They were mostly laying their lives on the line to the last boat, and also the French army covered for them at great loss, which to me, I think that would actually make an even more compelling story if you start to bring in that element of another country putting like their own troops and lives on the line to save others. I don't know.
Yeah, I do remember at the end of the film, Kenneth Branagh's character was like, I can't leave. I have to stay behind to make sure all the French get evacuated.
Yeah. Mr. Roy, you were saying something?
Yeah, even the Dunkirk itself was completely bombed. So when you see at the beginning of the movie, the guy running through the town, there was no actual town.
Yeah. It's one of those things where obviously that's the problem with historical films, is that oftentimes they're not very historical. But yeah, I think a lot of us though can typically still appreciate those films, for different reasons. But
yeah, I think like my favorite historical film, one of my favorites, is The Patriot. And I know it's full of historical inaccuracies. But it's like you get the tone, or the, if it shows like the emotion of the time. It's like sometimes they combine several different things that happened, into one scene. Then that's fine. I mean, Glory with
with Matthew Broderick.
Matthew Broderick.
Yes.
Great film.
Yes.
I think that's probably one of the more historically accurate films that I've seen. But Lincoln, it was pretty good. But sometimes it's like I want to get the emotion concentrated into one scene.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes that happens, but
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, call it out. I mean, if I watch a movie and it's not historically accurate, because my history knowledge, I focus more on like early American history. World War II, it's definitely a transitional time for the country, but it's not really an area I've ever been like fascinated with.
Yeah.
So if these movies aren't displaying,
that's what I love to learn,
scenes,
right? Yeah, because I think we both love to learn more and more, and that's why there'll be films that we enjoy or not a big fan of or anything, and then people will come in saying, "Well, actually, it's very historically accurate," or "It's not as historically accurate," and it adds a new level, right? It adds a new layer, as it were, to the onion of the film.
I mean, I have a friend who's Armenian, so I like never really heard of the Armenian Holocaust.
Yeah.
Until I met him, and I was like, wow, I can't believe I've like never heard of this.
And then they made a movie, and the movie was all about the romantic triangle and not the actual. And I was like, it's like they finally make a movie about the Armenian genocide, and it's like, yeah, let's make it about a romantic triangle. It's like, what? Really?
What movie was that?
It's I want to say Oscar Isaac is in it.
Yeah, it was the Turkish oppression was kind of like a side note.
Yeah.
Like,
wow.
Kind of sad. But no, I mean I'm just saying my friend is Armenian and he has some pretty harsh things to say, but he's like, some other groups don't want you to know that there were other Holocausts and not just theirs, He's very conservative and he's very outspoken, so I don't necessarily agree with everything he has to say, but it's like
does he go after a certain group? I can kind of hear from what you're saying. It sounds like he goes really hard after a certain group of people, and
not particularly, but he's like, I have most of my grandparents and past are gone, and it's like nobody knows about the Armenian Holocaust. And there are no movies made, which is, interesting.
Yeah. Again, it's all about the love triangles, apparently. As Pat Est says, though, least historically accurate movie, though, is Inglourious Basterds. But I think a lot of us are okay with that.
It's like, Tarantino does all of these, like, fantasy revenge type situations. Like, Kill Bill is not... Obviously, it's like these revenge fantasies,
Which is why one of my I love Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, because it's very similar in a lot of ways. Tells the story and history in a different way, but hey, we don't mind because it's actually.
I remember I saw that movie in the theater and it was so visceral. I got sick, but I enjoyed that part so much. It was like I hung out kind of like in the atrium where I could hear it.
Still experience it because you're like, man, I'm getting sick, but I still like this.
I'm so excited these people are getting what they asked for.
Especially once the flamethrower comes out, I was just like, yes.
I peeked back in at the flamethrower part.
Yes.
I was like, I have to see this. What's going on here?
I love that scene.
It's such a good scene.
No, I watched the movie that I can't believe I've never seen, and it's probably my favorite movie ever. It's like Batman Begins.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's like, how did I not see this movie?
So good.
I like Batman Begins before The Dark Knight. I don't know how controversial that is, but
not as much as you would think. Because a lot of people think Dark Knight's the best, but I think there's an argument to be made for Batman Begins because it's just such a great origin story.
For me, it's like if my attention doesn't fade from the movie, I consider it really good.
Yeah.
But I love the relationship between Alfred and Batman in that movie.
Yeah.
It was so good. And then
well, that makes me have to do my Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
I found a ruby the size of a tangerine.
No,
Andrew was like, no, not the terrible Michael Caine impersonation, no.
And then, have you seen Following yet?
Fallen? Is that the Hitler film?
Following.
Wait, which one?
The first Nolan movie, Following.
Oh, Following. No, I haven't. I have it. It's on my server, and I just haven't had a chance because I think I mentioned this last night. I've been watching a lot of TV shows with my wife, but also I've been trying to finish Supernatural recently. But it's on like the top of my list of things to watch once I get back to it. How was it?
Yeah, it's like with Snyder. I keep going back, and I keep watching his movies he did before he got famous, and I'm like, I don't understand.
What happened?
I don't understand how people saw this and was like, let's give him a Superman movie. But I mean, it's like I go back, and with Nolan, it's like I watched Dunkirk, I watched Batman Begins, I watched Following, and it's like, this guy's brilliant. Let's give him more. Please have him do more, you know? But yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I'm thinking about Tenet when you said that.
Oh my god. Well, Tenet was good except for like the character. If they had recast the characters, I think it would have been fine. It's like I didn't have any connection with the wife in that situation.
Like, her, yeah.
You can't hear what they're saying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, you can hear what they're saying. And Laura, every time when you've talked about one of Nolan's movies, I'm sitting here thinking, well, could you hear it? Could you hear it?
I'm sorry, Tina. What did you have to know?
What did they say?
Could you hear any of that, everybody? No? Okay, well then.
Yeah.
That's all modern day Nolan films. So.
Welcome to Nolan, baby.
Welcome to Nolan.
Welcome specifically to Tenet.
Yes.
Anything else?
Which didn't even have a Hans Zimmer soundtrack.
Yeah, sadly. But any other films you were able to watch?
Green Lantern.
Green Lantern was about to say.
Green Lantern.
The Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern.
Oh my god. Greenland. Oh.
Oh, Greenland. Oh, Greenland. I was like, oh, Green Lantern.
Oh, people are gonna hate me for this. It was so bad.
Oh, just as you said that, Ball and the Hobbit said Greenland was amazing.
No, I mean it was fine.
Yeah.
You know? I don't.
Just not your cup of tea, as Andrew would say.
So, like, when you watch a science fiction like meteor destroying the Earth movie, it's like, I don't know. You want some type of like scientific accuracy, you know? So, like, they figure out there's this bunker in Greenland that they can go to.
Spoiler warning.
That's why.
I thought it was because it was an asteroid the size of Greenland that was coming to Earth.
Oh my god! So there's several scenes where, like, you know, this family's trying to get to Greenland. It's so bad. So they look up in the sky, and it's just like a matte painting.
Oh no!
Like asteroid coming down.
Oh no!
But they don't move. So this guy's like. He's looking at the sky like, oh, that's really horrible. It's just like it's an obvious matte painting.
Oh wow!
Behind him, so they get to spoiler alert. They get to Greenland, and they manage all to get like underground, and they come out like 9 months later.
Oh Lord! 9 months later.
9 months later.
And it's just this horrible, like, matte painting of, like, all the ice in Greenland is melted, but there's, like, birds flying around.
Aww. So it's a happy ending.
It's gonna be okay.
Everything's gonna be okay. That's a happy ending. Why would you not like that?
Wow. Oh my god, it's so
It gives you hope.
I was just like, seriously, it's like a Earth. They were like, this is a planet-killing comet that's gonna hit. Yeah. And it hits, like, in Western Europe.
And everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
The ice goes away. It's
just need to go underground for a little while. Just hang out.
Don't give them any ideas. That's what they're going to do. They're going to say, all right, everybody, lockdowns didn't work, so we're going to go underground for 9 months.
But it was, the girl from Firefly was in it, so I was like, anything that she does, I watch. So.
Morena Baccarin?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you, Laura's hard drive. Ah, Lord.
That's the only reason why I wanted to see it, was because she was in it, because I like supporting the actors from Firefly.
I mean, I think there's enough going on throughout the movie where it would keep you entertained. But I mean, it's not good.
Wow.
The K-Man disagrees with you. He just come in the chat. He's like, Greenland best motion picture ever, wins all the awards. Joke.
Wow.
And then apologizes for missing. We shouted you out earlier, K-Man. By the way, yeah, K-Man is the reason why I have live action Mulan. So here we go. But again, it's for posterity now.
I feel so betrayed.
Target practice.
Good target. No, I can't destroy it. I can't destroy the proof that Disney shouted out a paramilitary group that's a part of the genocide of a group of people. I can't destroy that proof. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah, let's get this conversation going. Let's talk about Sucker Punch.
God, I forgot Sucker Punch hadn't even been brought up yet. Oh yes, Sucker
Gina,
Punch.
have you seen Sucker Punch?
No. You know, I was saying the other day, I had a friend who went as one of the characters for Halloween, and she looked really cute. I just realized I've only seen 2 Zack Snyder movies. I've only seen 300 Watchmen.
Good. Leave it at that.
Well, I'm not going to say that. I mean, I've seen more JJ movies, and I hate that SOB. See, I didn't say the whole thing.
Yes, that's right. You're still good.
But I'm still good.
Still good.
But no, I don't know. But no, Laura, I haven't seen it. I know the gist of the movie because I've seen the analysis of it.
Is this the analysis that tried to argue that it's a great film?
No, everybody just seemed like they were just like, okay, we kind of get the gist of what's going on, but that's kind of it.
Mm.
I think that Odin really had a great insight where he said that, judging a movie because it has great action scenes and CGI, it's like that at the time probably was like really good CGI on the screen, but it's like it ages so quickly. I know when they were filming Lord of the Rings, they said that for the Balrog scene, they didn't really have anybody who knew how to do CGI fire. But that developed in the time that the movie was being made. So they had a way to a CGI flame, I guess they called it. Mm-hmm. And it just ages so quickly. It's like stuff that looked really awesome back then. It's like you look at it now and you're like, why am I watching this? It's so bad. But I think that's the problem with Snyder, is he depends so much on the visual aspects of his movie. It's like, well, that changes so quickly. It from 6 months, something that you did 6 months ago. But Sucker Punch has like no story that makes any sense. So I feel bad because it's like I know a lot of people who like Snyder were telling me to watch Sucker Punch because they were like, oh yeah, it's really interesting. I was gonna say
it's interesting. I was gonna say watch it. This is gonna convince you that he's a great director.
It's just, I mean, I don't know. I try to look at this movie was filmed like a long time ago.
Yeah. So
it's like if I had seen that in a movie theater, like if I'd seen a samurai warrior with a Gatling gun.
God, that's right.
Oh, when you said that in the comments,
I've erased this film from my mind.
I was like, wow, that really happened?
It's like, the ancient warrior and his weapon, the Gatling gun.
The Gatling gun, yeah.
No, but I see there's a video online of someone breaking it down, and the argument that they try and make is that it's actually a brilliant movie if you think about it. And I'm like, nope.
It's a female empowerment movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, I did hear that. Yeah.
Oh my god. But it's like I was trying to look back in Snyder's history. It's like, at what point did someone decide to give him a Superman movie? And it was after 300.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, there were some great themes in 300.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it doesn't age very well because of the CGI, but I guess I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It was just Sucker Punch made no sense
Mm-hmm.
as far as the story is concerned.
I will say with 300 though, the reason why it does make sense, not if you look at the movie, if you look at how much money the movie made. They said, "Oh, this guy can make action films that make money, that are well received by most people."
JJ. Like JJ.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, let's throw a Star Wars movie at him. He can make lots of money. He did Lost.
I mean, it's like 300 is one of his few movies where it's like, I enjoy that movie. I'd watch it again. Mainly because of the theme, and it's got some great one-liners.
Oh, tonight we dine in hell.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, if you like Snyder, I that's cool. I mean, I'm not. I didn't want to say anything because it's like I don't want to hate. I don't want to be a hater.
Yeah.
But yeah. I'm sorry.
Bruce is like, this film is fantastic, but I think I understand why Bruce thinks this film is fantastic.
I'm sorry.
There's some pretty ladies in the movie. There's some pretty ladies in the movie wearing some interesting clothing options.
I love how the length of their skirt. It was like Dorothy's braids and Wizard of Oz. It's like, why are their skirt lengths constantly changing? So
no continuity.
Spoiler alert. So this girl gets put in an asylum,
Mm-hmm. which
you could do so much with that. I mean, there were so many women in certain generations who were put in insane asylums
Mm-hmm.
because their husbands just wanted to be done with them, you know. But she then goes into this deeper fantasy where she's not in an insane asylum; she's in a bordello.
Mm-hmm.
No, just trying to follow along. It doesn't make any sense. But she then in the insane asylum believes that she's in a bordello, and from there she has additional fantasies where she's like this super ninja warrior, dragon killer kind of lady. And it's like, if you had just stayed with a woman being put in an asylum because her husband or her family wanted to be done with her,
Mm-hmm.
you could have done so much with that. But it's like you just kept creating all these levels of fantasy.
Yeah.
Where people are just like, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, F. Scott Fitzgerald's wife, she was put in an asylum. Thank you, Steve.
And she really wasn't crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I think he kind of pushed her over the edge, but I think they pushed each other's buttons.
Yeah.
I just read a good book on her.
Nice.
What was her name? Zelda?
Zelda. She was a Southern girl. She and actress Tallulah Bankhead grew up together.
What was her last name? Did you say Tallulah Bankhead?
Oh my God! If you sit up and tell me you've never heard of Tallulah Bankhead,
I've actually never heard of Tallulah Bankhead.
Oh my God!
I just broke Tina.
So, Tina, you want to hear a weird coincidence? So, my lifelong friend, her name, she decided to change her name to Zelda Fitzgerald, right?
Right.
She was my closest friend. I got pregnant and I had to leave school. And my daughter, for all of her life, has been obsessed with Zelda Fitzgerald.
Oh wow!
And I told her that. I said, you need to meet my childhood best friend, because my childhood best friend calls herself Zelda, and it totally identifies with Zelda Fitzgerald. And it's one of those cosmic moments where you're like,
yeah,
hey, that's really strange.
Wow. Yeah, we read Great Gatsby a couple of book clubs ago. Um, and then there was a book that came out about Zelda. And she died very tragically. She wasn't in a mental institute anymore, but she and Scott pushed each other's buttons. He was an alcoholic. She got to drinking. They were part of that whole wild, roaring 20s lifestyle. And I think she did have some issues, but he didn't help. She tried to do some writing. He was like, "Oh, I'm the great writer in the family. You don't need to be writing Zelda." So I think it was that kind of issue too.
Right.
But yeah, there's a book called Amazon did a mini series.
They did. I was just gonna ask about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was based on that book, and the book is better than the mini series. But yeah, it was just sad. I felt worse for her than I did for him. And of course he just drank himself to death. And she died she was like at I don't want to call it a home.
She was in a mental hospital in Asheville, North Carolina.
Yes.
And it caught on fire and she died.
Yes.
Oh, that's awful.
Yes.
But that happened to a lot of very wealthy men, and when they were like, quote, done with their women, they would lock them up in mental institutions.
Yes.
So
yeah, it's a very it's
bringing
very
the stream down. So.
No, right?
Yeah.
But
back to Sucker Punch.
Yeah, so she did a lot of artwork though, and a lot of her paintings are very very prized collections of her artwork.
I gotta head out.
All right, Mr. Roy. Yeah, we're definitely getting up there a bit, but thank you, Mr. Roy. Anything you want to say or shout out before you head out?
I got nothing to shout out other than that Gina Carano interview came out this morning and I watched it.
Awesome.
I recommend it. Yeah, since anyone gets a chance, I'll watch it.
Yeah, absolutely. You can find that on YouTube. And Mr. Roy, always a pleasure, good sir. Thank you for coming on.
I'll tell you. Well, appreciate it.
Yeah, man. You rock, dude.
See you later.
Have a good one.
See you, Tina. See you, Laura. See
and
Andrew.
Andrew. Yeah. Have a good one.
Oh.
So, about to say, and then they were three. That was creepy. Anyway, Laura, anything else you want to say about?
No, I feel bad. I mean, it's hard to give everybody their piece of, saying what they're into.
I mean, I've given everyone, so.
I enjoyed like the cross conversation.
Oh yeah, me too. Oh no, that was not it, because I'm usually game for these going 3 to 4 hours. And then my wife was just like, "You mean I have to wait another 30 minutes before you can make burgers?" I'm like, "It's okay. You'll be okay. You'll be fine." But we're all good. We're good. No problems at all. So if there's anything else that you want to share, please feel free.
Yeah, I did notice in the following there's I'm trying to describe how to enjoy it without ruining it, but kind of like pay careful attention when you watch the movie, because there's signs in the movie about like what Nolan is like really interested in. It's a very, me, I like my movies like an hour and a half, so that's why I was very interested in that movie.
Yeah,
it's like
a short Nolan movie.
I mean, I honestly felt like the Batman Begins was a better movie because it was tighter.
Yeah.
God, The Dark Knight. It's like, okay, I get it. It's like, and then the problem I had with The Dark Knight was I didn't feel like Two-Face's story like made any sense. It was like it felt rushed. But the district attorney, it's like I felt like his story just kind of didn't.
Yeah, the more you watch the movie and time goes by, I think a lot more people have been critical of how underdeveloped his story was.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't make any sense. He like goes from good guy to bad guy.
Yeah, and like nothing flat.
Yeah, It's like, I lost my girlfriend. It's like,
Rachel.
Rachel.
I'm your secretary.
Ooh. Okay, if anybody wants like an adult kind of movie to enjoy, check out Secretary.
Secretary.
I was like shocked that Tina had seen Secretary.
Oh my God, I saw it when it first hit home video because everybody was like, "Oh, you gotta see it, you gotta see it." And then I saw it.
And Tina was like, Tina was like first in line. I was like, I'm gonna see this movie.
And then I was like, ugh. What? She's so stupid and delirious.
Oh my.
Oh my.
Oh my. And of course, Soul, the unfrozen assassin, says, "How adult?" And now Orange has to get involved. Yeah, how adult we talking? Gosh.
Wow. It was, yeah.
I'm ashamed of all of you. But anyway, like when you do say adult, do you mean like R NC-17?
Like hard R.
Hard R.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
NC-17.
Yes.
Like,
Ugh.
yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Stop icking.
I'm gonna continue to ick.
And that's the reason why I can't look at her in anything else, because all I think of.
Oh, who was in it?
No, I'm so that way, Tina. Oh,
what's her face that was in Batman? I mean,
Maggie
Dark
Gyllenhaal.
Knight. Yeah.
Oh, is it Maggie Gyllenhaal?
Yeah, that was like her major movie. That was the movie that put her on the map.
Oh, I had no idea.
Oh,
yeah.
I can't watch her after that. Like,
no, every time when I saw Dark Knight, I was just kept going, "I'm your secretary. I'm your secretary."
Is that what she says in the movie?
Yeah.
She says, "I'm your secretary."
Yeah, she puts herself through a whole lot of little things.
Okay,
oh,
so
Lord.
let's break down Secretary. Okay,
it's been a while since I've seen Secretary.
Let's not break it down too much now. All right, let's not
break it down.
Let's not go to too much detail.
We'll keep it PG.
It might be NC-17. This one's a PG. Sometimes PG-13 stream. Yeah.
So, she obviously has a lot of issues, right? And she's using her job to get out of her house, which, like many young women do, it's like, I'm going to dedicate myself like 100% to this job. And she meets this lawyer who has, let's just say, issues. And, you know, she...
Is it 50 Shades of Grey?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, an early version. Yeah.
Yeah.
This sounds... Oh, I'm just like, 50 Shades?
But it's, I guess the theme... if we're talking about like general themes, the theme is that it's like this works for her, whatever her particular situation was before. I mean, you kind of see how dysfunctional her family is. It's like she gets out of that family and she kind of attaches herself to this successful attorney, and it's like it works for her. It may not work like long term, but you know, it's like she moves from her house to being independent and on her own, and it's not the greatest, you know. No, I mean, it's not the greatest. I wouldn't want my daughter to fall.
Oh man.
My God.
Steph says that this person's name is Mr. Gray. Is that true?
Is he? Is his name Mr. Gray?
I don't remember.
Oh man.
Well, Laura, I'll say one word to you, and you'll probably know what I'm referencing as secretary. PP.
Oh boy.
That was when I was like, I snapped and went, I can't deal with this movie anymore.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Edward. Apparently it is E. Edward Gray, Esquire.
Oh, interesting.
Wow.
Wow.
James Spader is Mr. Gray. Wow.
Yep. It wasn't Spader in Sex, Lies, and Videotape. Oh my gosh, that movie.
Oh, have you seen Sex, Lies, and
I haven't
Videotape?
actually, but I've heard of it before.
Yeah.
Obviously, the name kind of made me not want to go out of my way to watch it because I wasn't sure.
It's interesting. It's interesting.
Okay.
No, it's more than just smut.
Sex, Lies, and Videotape?
Yeah.
The one thing that may upset my mother was that she didn't like the idea of a sister taking her sister's husband, boyfriend, whatever, because that's like such a high betrayal.
Yeah.
That your sister would do that to you. So, but it was a decent movie. I only saw it one time. So
I love that movie. It's so like the good girl wins, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this guy goes around and he videotapes women and he talks to them about like what's not working in your relationship. It's James Spader, so he's like super hot. And he's like, you know, I mean, come on, it's James Spader.
It's Ultron. Yeah, it's Ultron, you know, interviewing people.
It's like 80s James Spader.
Okay.
So he's like, yeah. And he's like, you know, so like, you know, what's not working for you? And he happens to interview this one lady who's like the super.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Anyway. No, it's my phone. I have no peace. I have no.
Oh no.
I have no privacy, no quiet.
Oh no.
It's just constant phone ringing.
Well, they heard you talking about sexualized videotape. And they're like, oh, we got to get in on this conversation.
But no, it's a great, because he shows all these interviews that he's done with all these women. And it's like, why is this relationship not working for you? And he comes down to this one. He's the like star of the show. Yeah. And you know, he interviews her, and she's like, "What's going on that you're not happy?" And you know, she spills the beans, as they say. And you're like, "Wow, okay."
Well,
she's like,
"Tell me more."
She's like, with the guy, you know, it's like in the 80s, 90s, it was like, "Ooh, you're making a lot of money. You're the guy." And she's like, yeah, it's not working for me. So,
cool. Nice.
It's hard to... Tina, have you seen it? You seen...
Sex, Lies, and Videotape? Or... Yeah. I saw it years ago when it first came out. I'm pretty sure I saw it at the movies. Because me and my mom, we were like, oh, let's go see that. It wasn't because the critics said go see it. It was like, yeah, let's go see that. That sounds kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So Kevin Spacey is like totally like, I'm gonna surf on your couch for a while, and then I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna stay with that person, surf over there. And,
Pat S says they're remaking it.
Oh no!
Oh God! Please stop!
No!
Oh, it's a joke. He says they're remaking it, Sex, Lies, and 4K. Had us.
But I guess if I have to wrap it up, check out Passengers. I mean,
I wrote it down. Yeah, because you.
Chris Pratt is anything that he does, he's just engaging, and
he's the male. He's the male Gina Carano, it seems, right?
Right. I mean, it's more complex than the trailers make it out to. Where you're. I mean, it's.
I like sci-fi, so.
Yeah, it's both predictable, but yet engaging at the same time. I don't know. Okay. I'm rambling.
I imagine it has to be better than Ad Astra.
I've never seen that.
Don't bother. Don't bother. Ad Astra with Brad Pitt. Oh, Andrew, you've seen it?
Yes.
That is so
good. He's like, why did you bring it up?
3 times. Huh?
You've seen it 3 times?
No, I fell asleep 3 times.
Oh, okay. It's pretty boring. Yeah, it's pretty boring. But I say, interesting premise, just the execution's awful.
Oh, no.
Because it's about a guy trying to find his father, and isn't his father like near Pluto or Neptune?
Yeah, a research station or something.
Yeah, it's like he's really far away. He's really far away in the solar system, and so he's trying to find him, and he finds him, and it's his father went insane and like killed a bunch of people or something like that. It's it's again sounds interesting, but then you have hours of content that you have to watch in between these points. It's just not interesting, not good. Pat S does say that Moon was good, and I agree. Moon was actually very well done, very trippy. For sure.
Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned it last time, but I did watch Interstellar.
Yeah.
Only because every time everybody asked what Jeremy's favorite movie was, he was like, Interstellar. Like, never thought about watching it. Interstellar.
Yes. Well,
very good. No,
well, Laura,
very good.
Awesome. Saw a lot of good movies and some not so good movies. Oh, Sucker Punch.
Stay away from Snyder.
Before getting to Tina, I did get one super chat 2 hours ago from Kathleen Kennedy's 50-year-old fanboy. Thank you for that $5 super chat. I have no idea if you're still watching, but I appreciate it nonetheless. He says, "Greetings, sir. All the best to you and your beautiful family. Keep an eye out for my new YouTube channel, and I hope to join you on a stream." Awesome. Kathleen Kennedy's 50-year-old fanboy. I'm hoping that's satire, because if it's not satire, I don't know if I'd want to be on a stream with you. If you're actually a Kathleen Kennedy fanboy. But yeah. Anyway, Tina, I have, because I pull up your Letterboxd. This is, I think, the least amount of movies you have ever watched.
I've been, and Laura will attest to this, I've been doing a lot of study on kaiju monsters. So, I am loving it. And I'm going to get into some more of those YouTube channels. But yeah, the only movies I saw in the last month, Witness for the Prosecution, which I had seen before, Billy Wilder, who did Sunset Boulevard and Some Like It Hot. And I think it's based on the Agatha Christie story. But it stars the always great Charles Lawton. And he is a defense attorney who has been in the hospital. I think he'd had a heart attack. And so he's home. His doctor's wanting to recuperate. And a friend of his comes to him and says, this young American is probably going to be arrested for murder. And I'd like you to listen to what he has to say. And the young American is played by the wonderful Tyrone Power. When you look at him, I said that in my Letterboxd review, when you look at him, you still see that hint of that face that just drove women wild. He was so handsome. But at that point, he had been sick. The alcoholism and the pill popping was starting to kick in, but he's still so good in this movie.
Yeah.
But anyway, he tells this story. He met this middle-aged lady, and now the middle-aged lady is dead. She's been murdered. Her head got bashed in.
Oh, damn.
And he's just like, I can't believe the police would ever come after me and arrest me for murder. I just kept her company on occasion. And the police show up and arrest him. And so Charles Lawton, even though his doctors don't want him to, he decides to take on this case. And Tyrone Power's German immigrant wife is played by the wonderful Marlene Dietrich.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a very clever mystery. With me being an Anglophile, I love that English wit and that English humor. And there are times when I hear lines and I'm cracking up and I'm like, okay, nobody else probably would have gotten that. But I loved it. And it has a really good kind of a Hitchcockian twist end. So I'm not going to tell you what it was, but that's a great movie. The other one I saw was The Night of the Hunter, which was directed by Charles Lawton. It was his only directorial turn. My mother, this was one of her favorites. She had told me about it. I just never got around to seeing it. Robert Mitchum plays a villain that would make Darth Vader tremble in his boots. He is so creepy. He plays this supposed pastor who has found the light. And he seduces poor Shelley Winters, Shelley Winters just didn't have any luck in these movies. She got her head bashed in by Montgomery Clift in A Place in the Sun. And so now here she is. She's being seduced by Robert Mitchum. And it's like on one hand, he has love tattooed on his knuckles. And on the other, he has hate tattooed on his knuckles. And he claims he has this story, but it turns out he was imprisoned with Shelley Winters' husband, and he thinks that, and the husband is dead, but he thinks the money is somewhere on the property, which is why he comes there.
Mm-hmm.
And she's got 2 children. The little boy is really smart. I mean, not smart like we see in today's Hollywood movies where they know everything, but it's like the kid is sharp. And there's a little sister. And there are just moments in this movie where Robert Mitchum is jumping between trying to be very self-righteous and then threatening to smack the little girl if she doesn't tell him what he wants to hear.
Oh, Lord.
So he is just...
It's like a multiple personality disorder type thing?
No, he's just evil.
Okay.
It's just he's very deceptive. The neighbors think he's the most wonderful man that ever walked the face of the earth. Oh, you're just wonderful. You're just spreading the word of God everywhere you go. And he's just like, oh, yes, sister, God showed me the way when I was in prison and I've changed my ways. Okay, come here, you little brat, and tell me where the money is. That's the thing. That one hymn that he sings through the whole movie, Leaning on the Everlasting Arms, that is a hymn I was brought up on. We used to sing that in church. I'm like, I will never hear that hymn the same way again. Because it's like every time you hear him sing it, something bad's getting ready to happen.
Is it kind of like the Singing in the Rain in Clockwork Orange, where it's like you hear it differently? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And Lillian Gish made an appearance like in the last part of the movie. I was really surprised to see her pop up because I was like, that lady looks familiar because she was, like 30 years older.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I saw the credits, I was like, oh my gosh, that was Lillian Gish. So yeah, it's a really good movie. I love the cinematography in it. It's shot in black and white. There are parts of it that feel almost like a German expressionist movie. And I'm not sure why Charles Lawton only did the one movie, but yeah, he definitely came out on top. And I saw somebody in the chat saying it was such a fantastic movie. And Pat S said, yes, Shelley Winters drowned in a boat saving Gene Hackman. Yes, she did. Poseidon Adventure.
Yeah, it was that 70s rock fan who said it's one of the best movies ever.
It is. It's a beautiful movie. I'm sorry it had taken me this long to get around to seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other, well, I'll throw this out. On Mystery Science Theater 3000, I saw The Skydivers. And that's just I think Coleman Francis, thank the Lord, only did 3 movies. This is the first one I've seen that had a coherent plot to it. That's scary.
I have to read this premise.
Because Coleman Francis makes Ed Wood look like Martin Scorsese.
The premise is a woman seeks revenge on her former lover who owns a skydiving business.
Yes.
And the tags are thrill-jumping guys, thrill-seeking girls, daring death with every leap.
Yes. It's terrible. Coleman Francis never did a great. Like I said, he made Ed Wood look like Martin Scorsese.
Yeah.
So take that as you will. Brian, I thought Charles Lawton was wonderful. I thought he was a great actor, and I'm sorry he only directed this one movie, but if he thought that was the best he could give, then go out on top.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. But I don't remember the first Charles Lawton movie I ever saw, but I loved him as the Hunchback. I like his performance as Henry VIII. I don't like the movie overall because it is so historically inaccurate. I'm ready to hit somebody. The only thing they got right was, yes, Henry VIII was King of England. Here are his wives' names. And that was about it. So,
okay.
But he's so good in it. He is so good. And other than The Skydivers, my favorite movie that I saw in the last month was The Third Man.
Yeah.
I had not seen that in so many years, and I loved it so much. I bought a Criterion copy off of eBay.
Nice.
So I have that on my shelf right now. So it was just like that theme song was stuck in my head for a week. It was like was it an earwig or earworm?
Yeah.
Earwig, yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't get it out of my head. I was just humming
Isn't the opening like one of the best openings of all time because of the way the bomb sequence works?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I was like, Carol Reed knew how to do a Dutch angle.
Mm-hmm.
And he knew how to do I was looking at some analysis of Third Man, and they were talking about the vanishing points and how Vienna feels like its own character. And it was like, that's so true. And Joseph Cotten just kind of drops down in the middle of it. And he doesn't have a clue because, oh my God, how dare you accuse my good friend Harry? And it's like, you don't even know who Harry is. So, and of course, that one famous line in there that Orson Welles says, it just, oh my gosh. And the one scene, that one moment, that is one of the greatest intros I've ever seen to a character.
Yeah. I used to do a movie club at my old high school, and that was one of the opening. I showed like opening scenes, and I was like trying to explain how they establish films. And so I showed that scene, and then I showed the opening to The Dark Knight.
I don't remember The Dark Knight. So I have nothing to compare that to.
I love the introduction of Captain Jack Sparrow.
That is so much fun.
Yeah,
where he's
true.
on the ship
that's sinking. Yeah,
the port.
Yeah,
that was so good. But yeah, that is like when we first see Wells in that movie. I was just like, oh my gosh, that is such a great introduction.
Excuse me, Gladiator, where they're in the battle and the dog like runs through fire for his master.
Excuse me, the fanatic with the great. I'm sorry, but the opening of, or rather, the introduction that we have in the Fanatic to the character played by John Travolta. His first line is, "I gotta poop."
Yes, that's right.
Iconic.
That's right up there with Rosebud.
Damn right it is.
Yeah.
I gotta poop.
Let's go back to what I was saying. And then, and the Gladiator movie, like music is building and building and building. You're like, okay, these people are like, oh,
sing it.
They're in battle, and he's like riding down the line, and they're all looking up at him like, oh,
Roma Victor. And I had friends that were in England that were not that far from where they filmed that scene, the battle.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Russell Crowe, I actually finally, for the first time, I officially on Blu-ray have Master and Commander.
Yes.
Because I think I got it on digital to watch for your birthday stream. Was it a year, 2 years ago at this point?
My favorite scene in Gladiator is actually when they take him into the woods and they think like, oh, we're going to kill him here in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And he's like, the frost, it makes the blade stick sometimes.
Yes.
He's like trying to pull his sword out of his sheath, and he's just like really confident. Or he's in the arena, and he's like, who here served with me before?
Mm-hmm.
And the people behind him like, yeah, me. And he's like, okay, you line up to the right, you line up to the left, and single column. He's like shouting out orders like as they're trying to slaughter him in the arena.
Oh my gosh. And when he finally gets on a horse again, it's like it's been so long since he'd been on a horse, because
he jumps up on the horse and the guy throws the sword at him. The guy who throws him the sword is like 6'5", and he's just like, he stands back and he's just like, holy crap, what is going on here?
I loved it.
He just has this look in his face like, okay, this is the general right here.
And I remember when I first saw Gladiator, I was the only woman in a theater with like a couple of dozen men, and they were all looking at me like, why is this woman in here? And then by the 12th time I think I saw Gladiator, it had become a chick flick, because women were dragging their husbands and boyfriends in. They were like, I don't want to see this. Oh, you're going to love it. Russell Crowe and Joaquin Phoenix, they're great. They're so good looking. I don't want to see this. And then when it was over, it was like, the man was like, oh, I thought this was going to be a chick flick. This is a good movie.
I'd love to send him out to the...
Yeah, Bruce has it right. I think these ladies like Gladiator. Yeah.
Yes.
So they send him out to this like nowhere land, and they're like, fight to the death, and he's like, okay, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut off the hand of the guy who's next to me because he's not gonna fight very well.
So I hate to cut this conversation. I do only have about 10 minutes because I do need to cook dinner for my mom, and I know that Tina wants to talk about what she's learned about kaiju.
Yeah, I'm gonna rattle off. I'm off YouTube, so if anybody send me any messages, but I'm gonna rattle off a few of my favorite YouTubers.
Yeah.
Cinema Tyler, 100 Years of Film, Oliver Harper, Greta, Sideways, who did a 90-minute analysis of Cats and how don't worry about the freaking CGI. The rest of the movie is a thematic mess. I learned so much. Oh, he said Les Mis is a mess too. And when he got finished, I'm like, yeah, don't let Tom Hooper near anything ever again. Hats Off Entertainment, who does nostalgia, Minty Comedic Arts. He usually does 10 or 15 things you didn't know about certain movies. Cut Short, he goes into movies that never ever came about. Film Brain is from England. He does movie analysis. Georges Lacal Schmidt, he does analysis. Nitpicks. Super Voice Cinema, I definitely recommend if you want to find out about projects of movies that never happened. He did an excellent analysis on a Superman that was supposed to happen with Tim Burton and Nicolas Cage that never came about. Warner Brothers spent millions of dollars working on a Superman project that never happened. And pretty much every man in Hollywood at the time was up for Superman. Even Henry Cavill. So
was this the one that what's his name was also up for? Nicolas Cage?
Yeah, Tim Burton. If you go online, you can see the Tim Burton videos where they were doing costume fittings and everything. And
it could have been Nick Cage as Superman.
That would have been abominable.
You mean abominably awesome?
Abominably horrible. Nick Cage. God. Collative Learning, he is really into The Shining. If you watch his channel, you're going to learn so much about The Shining. I learned stuff I didn't even know about. If you want something funny just to pass the time, I would recommend Phaelus, Brandon Tincott, Red Letter Media, of course, Bob Show. For just kind of, they do things in general. Crimson Sin was one of the first channels I ever subbed to. They were the first ones who talked about Alita and how much they enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Dave Sundstrom, he does nostalgia, cult cinema classics. He runs old silly cult movies. Saber Spark does animation. Phantom Strider does animation. Cynic Snacks, he does movie reviews. Dark Corners Reviews usually does bad cult movies. Men of the West and Geek Zone are Lord of the Rings. Mr. H, I think a lot of you know. Shadow Streak is a Powerpuff Girls expert. Weekend Warrior tore apart Rise of Skywalker. He's pretty good.
There's a channel called Rise of Skywalker. Did you say Rise of Skywalker was good? That's what I just heard.
No, Weekend Warrior. It said he tore it apart.
Okay. I thought you said the channel's name was Rise of Skywalker, and you said it's good, and I'm like, oh, really?
Johnny Bach, he does nostalgia, old movies and like that, and gives you background on those. E-Hacker, who used to come on our channel, Entertainment Hacker.
Yeah.
Has become quite an expert on the Johnny Depp case, and also Meghan Markle and Prince Harry.
Wow.
Super Voice Cinema, he is another YouTuber who discusses movie projects that never happened. Anne Boleyn Files and Tudor Society, that's historic. John Solo goes into mythology and fairy tales and the history on those. Friedrich Knudsen goes so deep. His channel is called Down the Rabbit Hole, and you can understand why. See You in History, Mythology, Titanic, Honor and Glory. Defunctland is fantastic, especially if you want to learn about old Disney history and stuff that kind of fell through.
Yeah.
Bright Star Films does Abandoned Places and Shadiversity. I think a lot of you know already. Umbrella Guy. But the two I've been watching here the last few weeks have been Up From the Depths and Allegory, because they have taught me so much about kaiju monsters. I don't even know what to think. Both of them are total experts. Allegory spent an entire video explaining the physics of how Godzilla powers up.
Okay.
And even explained it using a candle and putting a glass over it.
Nice.
Up From the Depths, he is so detailed. I have not seen Godzilla King of the Monsters. I know it didn't go over well. He does not like the movie overall, but he said there are certain things in Japanese spirituality that you also have to understand and look for in the movie. These monsters are not monsters. They were considered titans, just like the titans in mythology. Man has lost contact with those titans. At one point, we had a connection with them, as far as the mythology in the movie.
Yeah.
He said there is a scene in there where Ken Watanabe reaches out and touches Godzilla, and Godzilla allows him to do so. That is the first contact that man has actually had on an intimate level with a titan. So he explained about how Mothra is considered the queen of the monsters. She's very maternal. She will give her life to save humans. That's all that's in her thought process. There's one Godzilla movie where I think it's Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, going back years, where Mothra goes to Godzilla and Rodan and says, okay, we all need to get together. You two have got to quit fighting because we've got to save the humans from this.
Yeah, because isn't there like subtitles underneath it too?
Yeah.
So I feel like I've seen one of these because I used to watch these, like they used to be on TV and I would watch them. And I think I remember there being one where they actually talk to each other.
Yes. Well, that's it, where she's explaining to them, no, we need to get together. We need to work together. And he said that even in King of the Monsters, she's out there battling Ghidorah on her own. She's dying, but gives enough strength to Godzilla that he can defeat Ghidorah. And like I said, I never saw the last Godzilla movie. I had planned to, but yeah, Laura knows. I introduced the Alatori's channel to Laura, and we have just been watching all her videos. But Alatori's like, they've got to quit releasing trailers. They're telling me too much. 8-Bit Sync Boy. I did mention Brandon. At least I think I did. And he's hilarious. He does a lot of the kaiju movies, but he's kind of looking at them from a humorous aspect. And like when Godzilla's doing his victory dance in one movie. But those are the channels I recommend. And yeah, I was just like, when I finished counting them, I was like, oh my gosh, I've got 147 channels.
Well, that's awesome.
So yeah, and if anybody, if you want to remember if any of these movies, it's like, oh, what was that channel you mentioned? And like, I'm gonna keep this. I'll keep this sheet.
Yeah.
So
nice.
But anyway, I've learned so much about kaiju monsters. I can't wait to see Godzilla versus Kong. I'm
nice.
Really looking to it.
Very good. Awesome. Yeah. I mean, you just got me excited for it, and I was not before because of, as you mentioned, with Godzilla King of the Monsters, right? There were some issues with it, but yeah, it's cool to hear a different perspective where it's like the guy's not saying it's a good movie, but there are special things that are rooted in the mythology that are actually respected. So
exactly. And I will tell you one thing really quick.
Yeah.
Alatori said, look at Kong's face in the trailer. His face is showing fear. The one moment when he falls off of the battle cruiser and he's drowning, he's chained up. He looks like one of us would look if we were chained up and we're drowning. Yeah. So I think they did a really good job as far as the facial features and everything. I'm really going to be curious. I'm curious about the whole axe thing. I'm fascinated with it. So that's it.
Nice. Also, because I just saw the person shouted out, it's REWOP 300. He apparently he says he's been a long time lurker, but this is the first time he's broken cover. to actually say something, and it's because you talked about one of his favorite films, which was Night of the Hunter.
Oh.
So he says because you mentioned that, it's what caused him to come out and mention it.
And he said the movie was not well received. I did see that on Wikipedia. They said it didn't go over very well with the critics, and I think it was a box office flop. So
awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And again, I'm sorry to put you in a time in a time bunch like that.
I talk fast anyways.
Yeah, because like I was looking at it, and typically I can go for a little bit longer. Like I don't have to have like a hard cutoff, but my wife's like, I'm really getting hungry, and obviously, happy wife is a happy life. But before we go, Andrew Hoyle, any last minute things you want to say? Anyone you want to shout out?
I'll just say thanks for having me on, and taking my YouTube virginity.
Yeah.
Just hope to speak more next time I'm on.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, and it was great talking with you, getting to actually, speak with you, and not in person, but of course, what's avatar to avatar. It's been great, man. So thank you for joining.
Good stuff.
Absolutely. And Tina?
Yes. Oh, well, I guess I already shouted.
That's true, yeah.
See, this was something I was going to go into detail about.
And now sorry.
Time.
Oh, no.
I'll bring it up next time, I guess.
Okay. What I'll do is I'll try and get, because I've been meaning to get the Valkyrie on a stream. So I'll have to do that. Maybe that can be a way to hold it over.
Okay.
Get you and Steph on.
It's kind of something important that I found out movie-wise historically, and I was like, it knocked me for a loop. So
I'm so sorry. I feel so bad.
That's okay.
No,
that's okay.
We will get to it, though. We will get to it.
Okay,
we'll But anyway, you guys are great. Laura, I saw that she dropped off, and when I looked over to the Discord, it looked like she's offline. So I'm wondering if her phone died. I'm not sure. But thank you, Laura, for being on. Thanks to Rosetta and Mr. Roy for being on. And shout out to the K-Man. I know that you wanted to join us today, but anyway, guys, you've been great. Thank you for everyone who's been here from the beginning watching. 3.5 hours, lots of fun, and I wish we could continue, but my wife just put the potatoes in the oven, so I need to go cook up some burgers. But go. So anyway, you guys are all amazing and beautiful people, and again, I will shout out. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. So a shout out to these YouTube members: MTAC Shark, Forever Sci-Fi, FCC 2014, Rosie G12, Andrew Hoyle, Eric K, Orange at Reviews, Adam Avery, The Bosco 2000, Twirly Wolf, Jay Stowe, and Aiden Vickery. And again, shout out Andrew Hoyle. Thank you for joining me today. Tina, thank you for joining me today. You guys are great. Shout out to Steph for being a mod, even though she left us for a little bit. Anyway, I love you guys from the bottom of my heart. Let's go ahead and shout out some Patreon people real quick. Have a wonderful day, everybody. And as always, God bless. And now for a huge shout out to all of my Patreon members: Albertus Magnus, Ali C83, Andrew Hoyle, Animation Commentator, Brian P, Dion, Divex, Enrique Evangelista, Father Christopher Miller, hail to you, Father, Father Damian Cook, Garrett Searles, The Honky Chonky Funky Monkey, Inflamed Wood, It's a Trap Productions, Jason Clark, Jacob Juice, Jay, Jeff Toon, Jonathan Carney, Laura Story, the Modern Major General, Mag Jackson, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mr. Peabody and his evil twin with the beautiful hair, On to June, Orange Hat Reviews, Out of Step with Reality, Riff Magos, Rosetta Ullin, Steve Glasker, Teresa Martin, Theodore Benden, Tina Bojan, and Tina B, the Empress of the Universe. Thank you so very much for being my Patreon members. And a huge shout out also to my Subscribe Star members: Stan 4, John B, Perpetual Punster, Mr. Roy, Glinzer, Darkstar 57, J. Alex McCarthy Jr., Dean Heiss / the new number 2, J. Rod the Beer Guru, Nevadan G. Adams, and the K-Man. Thank you all very much for being my Subscribe Star members, and to all people who support the channel. It really does mean a lot. If you want to support the channel and have your name shouted out, please make sure that you join on Patreon or Subscribe Star today. If you sign up at the $5 or up level, you also get access to exclusive giveaways, including for 4K and Blu-ray titles. At the $10 level, you get all of that, plus you get access to an exclusive podcast that I do with John the Flick Pick Flickinger. There's actually currently an episode that I made public on the channel right now, so you can go ahead and check that out if you want to have more access to even more episodes and more content and the ability to ask us questions. Please feel free to check that out as well. And if you join at the $25 level and up, the Chosen of Valhalla level, you get to have all of those things, plus you get a free t-shirt that first month that you sign up for it, and every month you will be able to access the Chosen of Valhalla live stream, where me and my chosen just talk for about 2, 3, sometimes even 4 hours about whatever it is that they want to talk about. So check all of that out in the links in the description below. You are all amazing and beautiful people, and we all have a wonderful day. And as always, God bless.